And now it's time for the penultimate episode of Series 2 of Disney Who, and God only knows what they're going to throw at us this time.
Doctor Who loses 800,000 viewers in a week as Wish World isn't wished for and gets 1.83 million overnight. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Who's Views Reviews. As you can see, I'm with Kirsty, I'm with Paul, and I'm with Third Doctor Ian. I'm absolutely ignoring the tagline that Thor's got there with him as well.
Hey!
It's good to see you all, everybody. Thank you for joining us. As we delve into the crap that the episode that was on last night, Wish World. Thank you for joining us. Oh my goodness me. I have to tell you guys, I am so exhausted. This is episode 7. One more to go. Thank God, because this has been such a long run. I am shattered. I don't know about you.
Can I say one thing, apart from mentioning time being canon, clearly, obviously? Turning, I never thought I'd ever say this, turning a negative, like dimensions in time, into a positive is a real first for me, I have to say, honestly. Yeah. Never thought I'd do that, honestly, yeah.
There is that. But oh my God. I mean, the headache of this particular episode here. I was just saying to people in the preview show here live at 6, I actually fell asleep for a few seconds last night because this was so dull and boring, and I had no idea what was going on. And as guys,
I'm so glad you said that, because I felt exactly the same. I thought, is it just me being stupid?
Oh, well, I want to clear that up with us as well, actually, because it was only in live at 6 that the guys, everybody that joined me there said they didn't know either, because I thought the last episode had set this up, because there's so many questions. I didn't watch the Interstellar song thing. I didn't watch that. So I've come to this one, and suddenly the Doctor isn't the Doctor, and Belinda isn't really Belinda, and Poppy's back. Oh, yippee, I'm so impressed. And how did they get back to Earth? What's going on? You know, why that particular date? Why was May the 24th so relevant? What? It's just so confusing. The whole thing was just like, what? And can you imagine? It was difficult enough for me, a long-term standing fan, although not of this era. Can you imagine if you were a not-we?
You'd be screwed.
Yeah. It's incomprehensible nonsense. It really is, honestly.
It's a miracle it got 1.83, really.
Yeah.
I think there's still probably some TV switched on still from the FA Cup final last week. I can't imagine. You know, there's got to be a proportion of those that were just had it on accidentally, and I'd be interested to know the 5 or 10 minute breakdowns for this as well, because it was absolute incomprehensible crap. It really was.
Well, we'll speak to Bedouin nicely about that, won't we? Let's go to the chat and see if everybody's here. Hello, it's good to see you all. Thank you for joining us. The Carcass is saying it put me off to sleep as well. There's a whole line there where they just actually realizes what he's doing. He gets the Rani to say this isn't just exposition. It bloody was. The whole episode was just blah 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 blah. John is here saying to us at Third Doctor, Ian, I'm loving your TARDIS.
Thank you. A little bit battered, but back in pride of place.
Yeah. Let's have a hello and welcome to Who's Views to Dr. Rick Douglas, MD. Hello, it is nice to see you. Stephen Braddock is saying to us, Wish World, I wish it had never happened. Oh, look, he's got the monominous. How lovely. Pish World, said Domgo.
Yeah.
Agree with that.
Is Dongo Scottish, I wonder?
He could be. Joining us today is Eddie J. Riley. Happy birthday, Eddie. It's Eddie's birthday today, everybody. Make sure you wish him a happy birthday. I hope you are having a lovely day, Eddie. It's good to see you. And Terrified Monk is saying Doctor Who is saved with those ratings. Yeah. Marie UK, hello to see you. Dave Harding is saying, just goes to show you, the Eurovision-inspired story did better only because it was sandwiched between two more popular programs. Yes. Yeah. We said that last week. John Roberts is saying, did they use a picture of Kate O'Mara in Dimensions of Time to make it canon? I'm sure Paul will be happy. Look at him. Look at him.
Yeah, that's the best bit of it, to be honest. The only bit I liked, really, to be honest. You know?
He is grinning like a Cheshire cat. I think there's more of it to come next week, though, to be quite honestly. Donkey the Funkin' Evans is saying Dimension in Time rocks, and for heaven's sake. And Noodle Arms.
Justice for Dimensions in Time, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You're all weird, the lot of you.
It got 13.6 million viewers, didn't it? Highest rated episode of the 90s, yeah.
And yet, nobody remembers it. Hello, Christopher. Christopher Livingston is with it. Hello, nice to see you. No, it doesn't suck. Well, that's great. Let us know why. Let us know why. And PTA, thank you for your super chat. He's also saying, I liked Wish World. Thank you, PTA. Poor disability representation, though, and Shirley irritated me. Which one's Shirley? She's the unit one, isn't she?
Unit one, yeah.
And I don't like the new Rani. Well, keep it going. Lots of chat come up, I'm sure. Cara is saying to me, guys, in 20 years, this will be repackaged and sold as an insomnia cure.
It doesn't need to be repackaged. It works as it is, honestly.
Yeah. And what have we got here? They need the Fat Controller to step in and tell them that they've caused chaos and confusion, says Rick Storm. Well, Russell's moved on to something else. Sorry. Matthew saying to us, it was like the used RTD first draft. It was confusing. And why is everything so fucking bright and garish? Matthew, though, don't you not think everything's like his first draft? I think it's been like that for such a while now. David B. In contrast to Doctor Who, I've also watched the first 2 episodes of Clarkson's Farm Series 4 this weekend. Ironically, there was less manure on display in that.
Same here. Good show.
Very good show.
And Rose is here. Hello, Rose. Hey, folks. Good evening from me. Hello. Good evening from us. Good morning, good afternoon to everyone in the pat. Hello. Did you get what you wish for, or don't you? Did you get what you wish for, or you don't? I don't know what happened. Well, we're going to be telling you all about what happened, I think, in this review, my lovely. It wasn't that brilliant. And Gary Bryant.
Can remember.
It's very difficult to remember it, isn't it? Hello to Gary Bryant, evening all, and don't forget the world ended yesterday. Alfie Jack, I wish I hadn't seen it. It was absolute crap.
Yeah.
Whoa, a lot of you already coming in with this. The episode inspired me to go and watch The Three Doctors. Arc of Infinity is next on my list. Not, said Paul Schlufter. Oh, that was just ridiculous, wasn't it? And Fan01-ish, RTD can't write fantasy, yet he has the nerve to have a dig at JK Rowling by having Conrad as a storyteller reading from a book with a cover that looked like a Harry Potter first edition. That was just sick as well, wasn't it, really? That is him doing that deliberately, because, as you can see there, that Doctor Who book was a blatant copy of the first edition of The Philosopher's Stone by JK Rowling, the one that Russell set her on the road to becoming the first United Kingdom billionaire author, you utter... But in his wish world, he's obviously suggesting in his wish world, JK Rowling wasn't around. Utter cretin.
He's called Doctor Who now, so Peter Cushing's going to be in next week's episode, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Does that mean he's canon then? He must be.
Who? Peter Cushing. Yeah.
Peter Cushing. So he's got a house somewhere, hasn't he, with a garden and everything.
Yeah. David Tennant's in it.
Oh, God.
Heretic, hello to you. Hi, everyone. My missus lost her crap as she's no idea who Omega is. Did you notice the line where they confirm the Doctor is gay? Yes, I did. It wound me up. Rotten. RTD making the viewers homophobic and the unsubtle disabled people are not seen. All this to come, everybody. Golden Age Geek, did you notice that the book Conrad reads, designed the exact way as the early Harry Potter books? It's a subtle... It totally is a subtle...
I think there's no subtlety in any of it. That's the problem.
No, because it was all a wish, wasn't it? And they were obviously wishing, as David Tennant had wished a certain person to be quiet. Oh, look, there's so many of you in the chat. It's so good to you. We're going to try and get to you all. And thank you very much, Our Soul. Good to see you with a certain Mr. Hawtrey there from Carry On Camping. How lovely. Oh, bless him. Wandavision and Exposition. And Digby Strawbridge, thank you so much for your super chat. Has Gatwa and RTD2 jogged on yet? Got the fizz on ice and I'm feeling thirsty. Well, I think this time next week you might be able to crack it open. Really. We've got lots to talk about in this. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. But the first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to get in touch with what we did last week. We're going to be looking at the results of the ratings game, everybody. Let's have a look now. So, yes, as we
I'll
said...
get my coat now, shall I?
As we said there, Wish World has come in with an overnight of 1.83, down on last week's. Jodie went lower with 1.95. Paul went lower with 1.5. Ian went lower with 1.47. Kirsty said 2.0. Emilio went lower with 1.7. And I went lower with 1.5. When I was watching the playback in the chat, it was interesting as well that a lot of the Who viewers in the chat went even lower than us with 1.1, 1.2, 1.3s. So that was interesting. But none of us win. None of us win, I'm afraid. That's a shame, because tonight, let's have a look at what you could have all won. Yes, you could have won this amazing speedboat.
Oh, no!
Yes.
Of all the
you
weeks
missed
to
the
get
chance
it
of the
wrong as well, my
speedboat.
God.
This amazing speedboat comes with a variety of skills, including its own swimming pool. It comes with an umbrella to keep those warm day sun rays off you. It comes with 2 chairs so that when you're out there in the ocean, you can have a lovely, lovely, lovely picnic. Handy appliances all around. It also comes with a toaster oven, which is implied in there. But no, that amazing star prize has to go back. None of you won. Take it away. Reel it off, girls. Thank you very much. Never mind, you lot. Never mind. Maybe another time, eh?
Can we hold it back for next week? Can we bring it back next week? Can we, just in case?
No.
Let us do them pointless. You know, they just
taking it
top
away.
up the prize. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Just Jordan, my dad's birthday yesterday was not having to watch this with me. It was utter crap and infuriating. Well, happy birthday to your dad. Happy birthday, mate. You're not missing anything. I hope he's watching us, Just Jordan. Tell him he's not missing anything from us. Sean Ledwith, this is a subject we are going to be coming to. Hiya, Sean. Why did they not show Omega? Was it massive wind up and he won't be in the finale? I think I absolutely think there is. Also, when you use Omega, you have to pay a certain amount of money. So let's just have a look. Jason Parker's with us saying, I put myself through it and regretted it. Another boring beyond episodes. With 8 episodes, you cannot afford one crap one. Never mind 8. Failed writer RTD attacks successful writer JK Rowling. Oh my God, the irony. Keep it coming, everybody. RTD, the showrunner who responds to critics with, oh, poor baby. The arrogance of the man. He thinks he's indispensable as the BBC brought him back to save Doctor Who, says Hayden 2012. I'm not going to argue with anybody at the moment with any of these things at all.
No.
Tom, thank you for joining us, and thank you very much for your super chat. Why didn't they just air the final on the same day? The 24th of May date would have had a meaning. I did think Gat would look good in the suit and waistcoat. Yeah, he did suit the outfit. I'm gonna, yeah. Absolutely.
He did look a bit like Mr. Ben, didn't he, to be honest? But...
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I wonder if that was part of the gimmick, or is that too much for him?
Well, they did a reference, didn't they, in the Christmas special with the kind of the one when they changed costumes to go through time and stuff. So that was a bit like that as well, wasn't it? Remember the shot they had of the suit of the knight, you know? Yeah,
that's true. That is
suit of
true.
armor. I couldn't think of the words.
Yeah, and wasn't it called something to do with the shop or something? That was from Mr. Bennett. Oh, I vaguely remember because I didn't like that one either. Darren and Hembrow, thank you so much for your super chat as well. Kirsty, is that a little graphic there that Darren's put up for us?
Yeah, it's one as an emoji. I can't see it, but it'll be on one of the emojis.
Good. Well, thank you for your emoji. They always make me smile. I'll have a look at that on the playback to see what we can see. Thank you so much, mate, because it's not coming up there. And Hugh Janus, thank you so much for your super chat. RTD apparently forgot his wokeness and inadvertently reinforced Time Lords and Time Ladies being separate entities. Yeah. Again,
that's because this is not the real world. That's why, probably.
Oh, is that what it was?
I would surprise me. Yeah.
He's lost it though, hasn't he? I think that's just he'll say something one week and then he'll change it the next week because he's probably forgotten that he wrote it and probably can't believe that he would write even anything that shit. And then he completely goes and writes even shitter the following week. But he's doing this, like we said last week. Tennant wasn't a Time Lord, he was a male presenting Time Lord, which means that Time Lords have no gender and they present one way or the other. So why wasn't the Rani a female presenting Time Lord? But then the thing that got me was she introduces the concept of Omega, because apart from hearing a few lines from the recording of Three Doctors, you didn't see him, obviously. But the oldest of the Time Lords, and as we all know, if you know anything, and RTD claims to, Omega wasn't a Time Lord.
No, he wasn't a Time Lord.
His line from the Three Doctors, my brothers became Time Lords. He didn't. He was lost in acquiring the power source that enabled everything.
Time travel.
Time travel. Yeah. So
here he
any
is again,
person who
recreating the
claims to
law.
be anybody that claims to be a die-hard fan, especially the classic series like that Pratt does, should know that. But he just writes any old bollocks because he thinks it'll fit his storyline, and
and then we get criticised for knowing the reality, pun intended.
Yeah.
Seeking. Hello, Seeking. Nice to see you. Welcome to Who's Views. Billy Piper is the next Doctor. Anything can happen in this nonsense next week.
Yeah.
Anything. And back to Christopher Livingston, who's with us. I have and always will be a fanboy of Doctor Who, regardless of who the Doctor is, or writer, or the producer. Some commentary here is dead. Is something to say, dad to say, sad to see, and how you skate people. Is that a new word? I don't know. Where is the respect gone? Christopher, look. Listen,
how are we skating people?
Let me just respond to that, Christopher. This is a review show about an episode of something on television last night that dares to call itself Doctor Who. I am not going to have respect for anybody that tells its audience it's not for you, or to go and touch grass, or is part of a cult that can't even tell what a woman is, and then turns around 1 minute and claims homophobia. No. These people, we're here to look at this show and either praise or criticize. And as far as I'm concerned, there is bugger all to praise. So it will get criticized. If you don't like it, fine. Tell us why you like it. Be polite. Don't be throwing nonsense like, where is the respect gone? Because I'll tell you, where's the respect from the people who produced the show and acted in the show? Because there's been none since Capaldi was forced to leave the role, allegedly. Okay? So don't be hurling accusations on my show. It's not going to work. All right.
Can I also add as well that we've always said as well, if you like it, we'll that's amazing. We want to know how and why you like it. And that's what fandom is, that you share the stuff you liked and you didn't like. But we have all done shows together for it'd be close to 2 years.
Over 2 years now. It's over 2 years.
Over 2 years that we've all done shows of new Who and old Who, and we've championed, and we've also talked about classic Who that we've not liked. We've never shilled this, and people send in super chats and whatnot, and we just cover Doctor Who. We don't shill it in that we're just trying to be in with the crowd. We're just being honest, and there has been stuff that we've liked of new, modern day post Who, whatever you want to call it now, and we've championed that. So you please come in and just be respectful. If you don't like it, there are other places, but we've never shilled. We're just honest, and there's authenticity with every review show of post, new, classic, whatever. And then I am female, and no disrespect, the youngest out of the four of us here. I'm seeing classic. I'm seeing classic as well, and I'm giving the positive and negatives out that it's not shilling. So
yeah, I mean, it's just an opinion, and if you don't like our opinion, go elsewhere. It's absolutely fine. Seeking is with us, saying, I've been watching Doctor Who from the age of 3. Good for you. Then also says we must embrace a diverse Doctor Who. Correcting us on terminology, time persons. No, it's time lords or time ladies. It's in the show. And I don't see gender. Well, you bloody well should. Get a job. Get a grip. There are males and females. And if you don't see gender, if you're alleging you see gender, this isn't the show for you. Because I'll slap you down. As a same-sex attracted man, it's very important that you see gender, because anything else is misogynistic and homophobic. Anyway, that's
gender great. Not in the Doctor Who context. It's got nothing. Sex has got nothing to do with Doctor Who at all, or gender. It's meant to be entertainment, sci-fi, fantasy, etc. Not all this bullshit we've been getting. It's awful.
Exactly. And this is the problem that they've ushered in. All this nonsense that RTD brought it back in 2005. They've brought in this nonsense now, this human side to him, of which this version of the Doctor is the most human ever. It's not the Doctor either, is it? And last night it was proved. I mean, I haven't been able to see the Doctor in Ncuti Gatwa's performance at all because of his performance and his way of presenting the Doctor, and also because of the crappy writing. But yesterday, I was totally in this episode, completely confused. What the hell was it all about? Why was he suddenly John Smith again? Why was he married to Belinda? How did they get back to Earth? Now, according to the guys that joined me for live at 6, that wasn't explained in the last episode.
No.
So how did he get there? I don't understand. How did he get back to Earth after the last few episodes, the last 5 episodes have all been about him not being able to get back to Earth? What was that about?
What they'll probably do is they will go back to Earth next week, and what we saw last week will be the fantasy world, and we'll have the real world to start with. And I hate when they do that. They don't just tell a linear story. Moffat was really bad about doing that. I remember one of the finales he did it with the first episode was great, but the second episode completely ignorable went before it. So I'm half expecting that. Nothing's going to be explained. It's going to be more of the same. And I have to say, this episode is the worst episode of Doctor Who I've ever seen. I have to say, honestly, awful. I'm really annoyed with this episode as well. I have to say, wasted opportunities, really is.
Well, wasted wishes, as I said at the top of the show.
Yeah.
Lex, thank you for your super chat. RTD upset me with special needs scene because he is. Yeah, with learning difficulties and all that sort of stuff, I think. And Jay Blanchester, what a week. First we have Shooty getting his Looking for Action Man doll, and then last night we have him and the Rani dancing like no one's watching. I just... Carly Doc.
I know the Rani's a witch as well. Oh, God, yeah. God.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carly Doc. Yes, that episode Wish World was very poor. Nice to see you. Go on, Ian.
The Rani was all, and this is insulting to Pip and Jane Baker, really, but then there's no surprise from these bellends that write it now, or wrote it before with Chibnall. But the Rani was always all about the science. She was a scientist. Everything was about the science, and now it's about magic. It's just disrespectful to the source material, I think.
Is this because they've been using the fantasy thing?
Possibly.
Instead of science fiction is fantasy, and therefore anything's possible. Because I don't understand that opening with the Rani. PTA, God love you. Thank you very much for your super chat. RTD is using the big reset button next week.
Yeah. Every single time.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it, is there? He absolutely will. It's just so. But listen, this start. I'm so confused at this start. This whole incident with the baby. So explain to me: is this baby some sort of god that's been brought to this German family or wherever they're from?
That was the impression I got. Yeah.
So is this the god of wishes?
I think so. Yeah.
So when the Rani's kissing the baby, that's giving her power for a wish. Is that right?
Don't know.
I don't know either. You've been paying far more attention than you said earlier. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's just because it struck me at the time. What the hell is going on? Because you told me last week, didn't you? Oh, it ended last week. I didn't watch last week's episode, everybody, if you don't know, because I don't care. And I didn't watch it. And you told me the TARDIS doors blow in.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that to happen. And I didn't see it. I didn't see that. And then suddenly it starts off with this Rani thing. And then the next thing I know, he's waking up in his room as John Smith. And I'm thinking, I've missed something. Again, if it's a not you're going to switch off immediately thinking, this doesn't make sense. And then I started thinking about this baby thing. And I thought, what the hell is this the drag queen? I generally don't understand everybody.
The baby did do like that kind of maniacal toy maker giggle, didn't it? That laugh at one point. So I was confused with, is it the toy maker again? I wasn't sure.
It seems to be that these pantheon of gods that he's created all have to laugh, because the cartoon one did as well, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's so confusing, isn't it, Who viewers? Honest to goodness, we haven't a clue what's going on. If you know, please try and tell us in the chat, and I'll try and keep up with you. A lot of you in the chat tonight. Great to see you. Thank you very much. Zents, thank you for joining us. That's terrible. Amidst being a fanboy, and we'll watch trash because it has a name you like on it. There is an awful lot of protecting this brand, as it were, because it simply says Doctor Who. But my argument is also, just because it says Doctor Who as in the police box in it doesn't mean it's Doctor Who. And this is in no way, shape or form Doctor Who, as far as I'm concerned. And so Sydney Rough Diamond, good to see you. Toxic positivity is the reason why the show is in this mess in the first place. Absolutely is. Rick Storm, lots of rumors. Rose Noble as the next Doctor. Missy returning. Omega is in Peter Davison's body. Tennant returning. Two Masters returning, etc., 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 etc.
That just sounds like an absolute mess if it happens. Well, it probably will happen, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it probably will. But do you know what? Hasn't the whole thing been a mess?
Oh, yeah.
It's been a mess for a while now, to be honest. It's been a mess for a while. But I mean, I agree with Paul that it would have been nice just to have a nice linear story told in a traditional way for once. But they They think they are way cleverer than they are, and they try to make things far more convoluted than they need to be. You know, it could have piqued your interest. How are they going to get out of that if the TARDIS doors are blown in? But I mean, Shooty just stood there, you know, oh, the doors are blown in. I'm sure his doors are blown in loads of times, frankly. But I mean, the TARDIS ones, you think something's going to go on, and then they cut straight to something else, and it's you've lost it. All the potential tension's gone, and it's what the hell's going on for 45 minutes, and we've got 75 minutes of this bollocks next week.
We have, yeah. Well, actually, no, it's 66, I think, next week. I think
That's still too many. Too many.
70, I can't remember. Somebody did tell me, I think it was Lex that did tell me what it was, but I can't remember. Hayden 2012 is agreeing with you, Paul. The baby I heard last night laugh like the toy maker. Thank you, Hayden 2012. Sean Oliver, the gold silver guy. Please don't throw tomatoes at me, JT, but I actually enjoyed the episode. Saying that it's been the only one of Gatwa's runs, so make of that what you will like. Well, Sean, let us know what you liked about it, please, because I can't see it. And Seeking's come back saying, I ignore anything I don't like, and I try to appreciate the nuggets in the Doctor Who shows. Well, that's great, Seeking. Thank you very much for that. That's great that you can do that. I've been trying to look for the nuggets in this show since Tennant got back, and I haven't been able to see him.
I tried that because I was hoping that the Rani would be more interesting this week. She was completely wasted.
Don't talk to me.
After a great first appearance in last week's episode, you know. Incredible.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get on to that in a minute.
I don't think there's nuggets in it, but it's not the right kind of nugget, really, is it?
Oh,
no.
We've got what a load of old. Yes, said Raymond. No scares, no danger, no threat. Doctor Who meets Wandavision. Boring. Now, have any of you panelists seen Wandavision?
Yes, and I can give you a
Just-
list of copy scenes that I was like, that's from Wandavision, that's from Wandavision, that's from Wandavision.
Really?
Well, I was bored with WandaVision as well. I thought it was terrible. Absolutely awful. So,
Oh, look at that. Do you know what, Kirsten and Paul? Because I've seen an awful lot of people today complaining it was too like WandaVision. I was putting the headline show together. Yeah, I was putting the headline show together on Friday, and it hit me about this because I've never seen WandaVision, but I was aware of it. But I can tell you somebody that has watched WandaVision, and that's RTD. Why does he seem to be getting influenced by all the Marvel and the Star Wars stuff? Do you remember when Doctor Who was original and it led the way?
Yeah.
Now he has to go and look, oh, it has to be like that, or it has to look like that, or it has to have that sort of story. This is nonsense. This is Doctor Who.
That's also him probably having influence from Disney Marvel right now, because a lot of the projects that they have released in their Phase 4 and Phase 5, especially with their Disney Plus, the television, instead of it like what you used to, you pick up a comic and you would just be engrossed in the world, and then you could put it down because it was just a floppy. It was like 12 pages. This, you have to do your homework. You have to be subscribed to Disney Plus to go watch X, Y, and Z before you can watch this new series, so it makes sense, instead of picking up something that's sci-fi, that's fantasy, that you can just dip into, and it might have a connection to another one, but nowadays you've got to sit and do a full-blown, like, binge a series before a next one, because this character might appear that is just to tick a box for them to have a connection somehow. If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Was it when he's taken the I don't know, he's been inspired, hasn't he, by WandaVision? And obviously, was WandaVision just as complicated to understand? Because obviously I'm looking at this thinking, where is this wish world? Was this Earth? Has the Rani taken over the Earth somehow through wishing? Is that what the story was about?
I think it's meant to be Earth, yes. Because we had Bavaria at the start, didn't we, where the baby came from? So that I'm assuming that is a continuation of Earth from that onwards. But I couldn't be 100% certain about anything, frankly.
Thinking, if you've watched WandaVision, I was, again, the Rani's a scientist, but I was also thinking with that scene where she turns the mother into tulips or whatever flower it was.
Oh, that was horrible, wasn't it? Yeah, that was interesting.
If you have watched WandaVision or you've watched Agatha's TV show, it was very much like Agatha, which the Rani was still upper rocker, but that wasn't that kind of rocker style. Like, that wasn't as maniacal how it is.
Agatha's bonkers, isn't she, as far as I remember? Yeah.
Agatha's bonkers, and Agatha would kill.
Yeah.
But Agatha's not a scientist. The Rani's a scientist, and there's a big difference between them both. And I would say he's just enough at Agatha.
Going back to what happened to the wife, the kids, and the husband, it's all like the toy maker again. Remember during the giggle when he turned all the I think the unit bullets into petals and turned them into balls and stuff like that. It's all the same kind of stuff, isn't it? All over again. You know?
Oh yeah, I've forgotten about that. Yeah, I've forgotten about that. We've got Just Jordan here saying that he was pulled, that's the Doctor, into Conrad's wish powered by that baby, the seventh son of the seventh son that just chuckles. That was the explanation. That was an explanation, Just Jordan. Well, I'm glad you picked that up.
That was an explanation. Okay.
That was the explanation. So it's the seventh son of the seventh son of the seventh son, and he's some sort of wish god. Is that right? Oh, it's no wonder we're getting lost. No wonder.
I thought it may have second sight when you're the seventh son of a seventh son. If you remember Child of the Zygons, obviously.
Yeah. Julianne is saying to us, massive jump cut from the last episode to this one, exploding TARDIS doors to domestic bliss. I hope he explains that then next week, because I haven't a clue what's going on. I doubt it, though. Jordan C, I'm a gay man, and even I don't like this gay doctor thing going on. I want what the Doctor always was. It's like making James Bond a woman, Wurzel Gummidge human. It doesn't and isn't working. Well, you know, I agree with you there, Jordan. Yeah. And Lady Knightsbridge is with us, guys. There was a lot I didn't understand about this week's episode, including, after the first 10 minutes, why I was watching it in the first place.
Yeah, that thought crossed my mind as well. I realised I had to be on here tonight, so...
Yeah. Seeking is pointing out to us as well, seventh son of a seventh son. Thank you for that. I think I get that particular point now. It just seems it wasn't explained properly then, was it? Really? Just because
it just feels contrived. It really does, honestly.
Well, it does, doesn't it? And it's painful. It's as though he's just stretching the whole nonsense, to try and fit in with the story. I don't know. It doesn't work for me. Kev is saying to us, the look on the guy's face is, we are lost, poor like you. I can't find the thread. Never mind losing it.
That's not in my age, to be fair. Yeah.
The drag queen was the child of the toy maker, said Austin Woods. So is this one as well? And if she had the baby, says Alfie Jack, why did they need the Doctor to use the Vindicator?
Wasn't that to get the location of Omega?
Hey?
Wasn't that to get the location of Omega or something? Because wasn't he supposed to be trapped or some... Oh, God, I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
No,
I'm lost, completely lost.
Yeah.
And do we actually really care, everybody? I mean, this was the whole thing about this nonsense, wasn't it, really? The fact is that, we are asking so many questions now about this. And we shouldn't be. We should be watching Doctor Who and not having as many questions about what was it about? Paul, did you watch the making of thing?
I watched the making of, and I'm still none the wiser. So.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not expecting there to be answers next week either, so I'm not holding my breath on that one. So.
Yeah, because they usually explain it, don't they? In that, go on, Kirst.
Yeah.
The making of, I saw a clip of it talking about the Rani's Sonic.
Wow.
So we're to make him Pew Pew style Sonic screwdrivers again instead of it.
Yeah. One rule for one rule for another.
Yeah.
The only reason she's got a sonic screwdriver, everybody, is watch this space. I can guarantee you that one of the next Vortex editions from Character Options, which will probably be in the next couple of weeks, will be the Rani sonic screwdriver, possibly with a Rani action figure for $49.99. I can guarantee you. Mark Greaves, thank you for your super chat. Rose Noble as the Doctor. What a balls up. I see what you did there.
We're going to get every pun intended there, I think. Yes.
We'll get complaints now. Oh, yes, we will. We'll get complaints. We'll get letters. If you have a complaint, then please write to Who's Views, care of BBC Television, London W12 8QT. Thank you very much. Stephen L. Reese is saying it's just so frustrating each episode as I can overlook a few bits and enjoy it, e.g. Time Lash or Spyfall. But this era is constantly underwhelming and beyond belief to care. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah. Absolutely. And PTA, thank you for your super chat. Omega, Peter Davison, Toymaker, Rose, Tennant, Rose, he, Rogue, and Susan. No wonder he needs 66 minutes.
That's about 6 minutes each, isn't it? Something like that. Yeah.
Oh, God. And, and we'll all come away still none the wiser, I'm sure, this time next week. Paul Rose, JT, after just watching it tonight, there is so much to criticize. I just don't have the energy. One more to go. Praise be, though I've only just found out it's a long one. Years. This is where I'm at, Paul Rose. I'm shattered. It's been 6 weeks for me, 7 weeks for the rest of you.
I used
And
to.
it's
I only
still-
joined in episode 4, and I
Yeah.
can't give a flying
Yeah,
any more about
slacker,
it.
what you like.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to get married next year if it comes back again.
You can't use that excuse twice, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Another super chat from Lex. Thank you, Lex. I hope this is not true. The seventh son is the Doctor. Well, that'd be damn silly. He wasn't born on, where was it? Bulgaria or wherever it was. That'd be, mind you, anything's
Bulgaria.
possible in this crap.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. And Tyler's saying to us, RTD can copy any Disney IP because he knows he's not going to get done for copyright whilst they are also involved.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Mickey Mouse has not turned up somewhere, you know. But
Well, he has. Isn't he?
Yeah, but
he would have. He with the
Mickey
big band
Mouse
at the
is
end. that we
writing
heard.
it
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Yeah. It's very true. Gary Bryant is with us saying Holmes and Hinchcliffe paid homage to old horror stories and movies, but they had the skill to make it still that special thing that Doctor Who is. RTD hasn't got the talent, he just copies like a kid does.
And does it badly, and does it very badly.
Yes.
Do you remember we talked about this a while, that the BBC was using AI for some reason? I don't know what they're using it for. I swear they've used it on the script. They must have done. Honestly, it's absolutely awful.
I've said it before.
What do you mean? To put the prompt in saying,
Yeah,
act like
write
a
a crap Doctor
you know
Who
nothing
story.
about
And there you
Doctor
are.
Who,
Yeah, so-
do something shit. And
yeah. That was the
says,
brief.
"Hi, you mean B. Russell T. Davis? Okay.
Yeah. Write the plot on the back of a fag packet. Why don't you? That kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, that's what he does, isn't it? That's what he absolutely does. I mean, there's so much going on in this episode. And yet again, Chris Graham is saying it was awful. Mel was underused as well. What was the point on bringing her back? Well, she's in next week. So maybe, surely he's got to do, as many of you are saying in the chat, he's got to do this reset thing where they all wake up, because you've got the entire unit cast there. Hint, hint, there's a series coming. You've got Mel in there. Surely they've got to wake up with something and resume themselves, because it's the end of the series. So,
Well, I don't know if you've seen, there's a preview trailer of next week that's on Tinternet, and it's got those bone creatures in it, and you're not fighting them in it so far. So there's going to be a merging of the two worlds, I think, a little bit is the way it goes, I think. But that's my interpretation. But I could be completely wrong. I have been before, and having watched last week, or yesterday rather, that was a complete shambles and a mess. I've still no idea. I'm not watching it twice, Ian. I'm just saying that now, okay, before you ask. Okay.
No,
I just want to make sure, Paul, because you have
I'm
been supporting the ratings, haven't you? But I mean, those bone creatures. If UNIT are fighting those bone creatures, when one of them was walking along, when it put its foot on the ground, didn't it look like it was a hologram anyway?
It's a hologram, isn't it?
How do you fight that?
Or maybe it's in two dimensions, different worlds, perhaps. I don't know. I'm giving it too much credit.
In one dimension, isn't it?
Isn't this nonsense, everybody? We're all coming here to try and appreciate Doctor Who. We haven't been able to, and we're looking at all this because it was an absolutely ridiculous script with a shallow plot, and none of us understood it. And those people that are saying they did understand it, you are lying. Get a bloody grip. Seeking is saying, I thought it was just me losing the plot. I didn't want to admit I was struggling to follow the plot. Listen, you can hear, because none of us know what was going on. You can say that here on Who's Views. So Sydney Rough Diamond is saying Omega supposedly in the Underverse. Where the hell is the Underverse? Where's that suddenly come from? I've missed something this season. And Andy Rad Art is saying the baby Rani gets the god of wishes, and Conrad uses the wishes to mold the world. But it's not complete as the baby is too young, which causes people to doubt, and doubt breaks the world. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
riveting,
isn't it? Riveting and gripping, isn't it?
Yeah, well, at least Andy understood it. Thank you, Andy. That's
thanks for the
a little bit for me. Thank you for that. Okay. Thank you.
The Underverse sounds to me very similar to the concept of the upside down world in Stranger Things, which is also an influence on him, isn't it?
That's a good point.
Oh, yes, you're right. Oh, penny drop there. Did you see that? Yes, because he loves all that. He loves all that. Yeah, you're right. Stranger Things has been an influence on him. I've lost that now though, because it was took 2 times. They should have just done it all back to back, and the kids have all grown up and done other stuff. I can't be bothered with it now. The Vindicator created power lines to Earth to supercharge the baby god powers to recreate Wish World, says Barry Jones.
Oh, okay. That's all right then. Yeah.
And Frankie's with us saying Jonathan Gross said he filmed these scenes as he filmed his episode. Yes, he did, because they filmed it all the same way. So Russell must have given him a very stupid thing to say, and just did it there. Tony
No
Graydon
expense spared with the special effects, though. Did you not think?
Oh, it was bloody awful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Awful. Tony Graydon, maybe the whole episode was a dream sequence while the Doctor is unconscious. Farsight, why did she need to use Conrad's altered reality? I have no idea. Maybe she knew that. You know, we were all watching.
Enough for the flashbacks as well, for God's sake.
Oh,
Stop doing them.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Just Jordan saying, Ian's right. The Vindicator was needed to supercharge the Wish. Why? Oh, because it had gone around to different times and places and it was powered up or something. Over 7 episodes, I would imagine. Oh, please.
Who knows? Yeah.
I don't know. Killbot.
Never got paracetamol.
I've got some here. Killbot Killer saying Omega was trapped in the antimatter universe. Yes, he was, and then he was destroyed or sent back to the antimatter universe in Arc of Infinity. This is what happens when you get all this nonsense, isn't it? You know, when you start to play around with it, and you're getting it wrong. He's rewriting old stuff as well. There's lots of you with us in the chat. Thank you very much. Brian Mason, hi. All unfortunately only want to go and this crap finishes. So they chase away all the long-term fans, says GD, then bring them back, the old characters. But for whom? Good question. Who was that episode for?
Yeah.
Why has the Rani got a Sonic? I can see her having a lab or a tool belt with scientific equipment, but not a Sonic. It's not a standard tool for a Time Lord. It's simple. They want marketing, they want merchandising, and they want money. It's on the way. I guarantee you it'll be out in a couple of weeks' time. I guarantee you. We've got some super chats there as well. I'm just trying to find them because we've got a lot of you in the chat. Harry VTV, thank you so much for your super chat. My 7-year-old son loves the Pandorica opening and the Impossible Astronaut, but doesn't get what is going on this season and said that it's boring.
Your son's got good taste, I'll tell you that. Yeah,
he's got very good taste.
And that's the audience that you know who's going for.
Yeah.
Doesn't Del, thank you for that, mate. Doesn't Mel die next week, says Stephen Darren Holt. No, I hope not. I hope not.
I wouldn't worry about it if you did. They'll bring her back to life anyway, like they did last
Just
time.
like they did last year.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, I'm happy again now. Into dimensions, says Heretic OSJC. Do you mean dimensions in time too?
It could be.
Could be.
That'll make up for it. Yeah.
Glenn Piper is saying to us, tables don't do that, where the cups kept smashing when they were questioning things. What did this mean? Did it send a message to somewhere to alert the Rani? Oh, think about that for a sec, guys. Why I say thank you to Andy Radart for your super chat. It's still nonsense when you know what it was about. And a super chat from Darren as well and Hembrow. Yes, another end of Earth cliffhanger yawn. That is a good point. We've seen it all before. Born in 68. Well, we'll have Shooty singing Never Ending Story at the end. Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me. But again, this is the greatest hits package from RTD, isn't it?
Well, greatest hits is stretching a bit.
It's the greatest hits of his greatest hits, and his greatest hits originally were just rehashes of other people's work anyway. So it's just regurgitating stuff that is already brought up once already.
I saw someone today talking about that, like he's got a whole load of like figures, and that he must just look at his shelf and go, "Okay, so we've not used this one for a while. We've not used this for a while," and then plays dollies while he types the script, and then goes done.
Allegedly, Big Finish do that when they choose the monsters to be in the show.
Oh, I love it.
Then the program guy can do that, close their eyes. Yeah, do that. Yeah.
That is so funny. Mark Greaves, thank you for your super chat. Not only Wandavision, he's also ripped off Red Dwarf again. If you remember, they had a Wish episode, Better Than Life, I think. I don't remember that. It's a shame Jodie's not with us because she would. She's a huge Red Dwarf fan. And Jamie Tipton, I've heard we may be having a Force Doctor open-ended regeneration, if true. Well, as we've said on the show before, it looks like it is going to be something next week. Anything's possible on this show now.
I wonder, do you remember that scene in Airplane with the hysterical woman and they all queue up?
Oh, yeah.
To administer some medication, shall we say. Maybe there'll be a queue for people to do that for Shooty when he regenerates. They're going to all have a go at making him regenerate. That'd be quite fun.
That's why they'll bring back Clara.
Yes. So a big slap so he regenerates. Exactly. Yeah.
But you can't do that because he's not.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yes, we all know that one. Mark S. Hello. Last year they made Sutek a big dog. I dread to think what they're going to do with Omega. Fan01ish is saying this is Conrad's wish world, which is there's no homosexuality and the marginalized are the only ones who can see through. It's a sort of woke matrix, don't worry, darling idea. Again, I was totally confused with all this. And hello and welcome to Who's Views to Ginger Guy. Let's see what you're saying to us. this season wasn't too bad, but the last episode just felt so messy. And with everything they've been revealing, the last episode needs to be at least 2 hours long. Please, no, Ginger Guy, I couldn't.
No.
Please,
I was
sit through 2
panicking when you
hours.
said 75 minutes earlier, and I knew it was 66. But yeah.
Oh, I couldn't. Could you guys? Benign Crinoid. There are more hits on Kachagugu's greatest hits. How dare you? I used to love them back in the day.
Lamar for the Doctor. You heard it here first. Yeah. Well, either him or Paul Daniels. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of you in the chat with us. There's oh gosh, a lot of debate over this absolute nonsense that's gone on now. We're going to carry on with it now because I don't know what the hell was I watching. It was just so boring. It was so dire. The one thing I want to address right now is this. You mentioned it in the chat. What the hell? This was him just doubling down again as well. And the script given to this Jonathan Groff guy was terrible. The effects, as you mentioned, as you can see there, Paul, utter nonsense.
It's like he did it on Zoom, you know, where you do the backgrounds on Zoom. It's like that, honestly.
But you know what I think he's doing now, Kirst, RTD? I think what he's doing, the Rani, Omega, Rogue. He's listening to the minority of people that love this show, all the tick boxing, DEI obsessed, TQ cult loons. And what for years now they've been crying out for Omega. It must be about 15 years. They've been crying out for the Rani recently as well. You know, and of course, since last year, we've had, we've got to have Rogue back. We've got to have Rogue back. Blah, blah, blah. I think he's just doing that. I think he's pandering. I think he's just doing, we'll put that there. We'll put that in there. Do you know what I mean?
Well, apparently Rani was a request from Shooty. He wanted to face off with a camp villain, apparently. So, yeah.
It's true. Apparently it's true. Yeah. Listen, Emilio's joining us.
Rogue wasn't camp enough, obviously. Yeah.
We've got Emilio with us, everybody. Let's bring him into the chat. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good. How are you doing? Sorry for running late.
You are joining us a very lively show tonight. We've got lots of people in the chat. I'm completely bewildered and confused. The guys are very dumbstruck. Everybody in the chat is like,
dumb.
oh my goodness. Yeah. So you're joining us at a very opportune time. We've just been talking about the deliberate insertion, pardon the pun, who madam matron years, of Rogue into this crap last night. What did you reckon of that one?
I mean, what is that to make of it? Just clearly just highlighting again to the audience, by the way, we made the Doctor gay now, and that's literally all it served the purpose for. It doesn't really make sense why he showed up, really. I thought really it would make sense for it just to be, I know Susan was, you know, for a snippet was shown, but surely it would be Susan that would be trying to communicate to the Doctor through the TV and not Rogue. I mean, that from a narrative sense it makes sense, but you could clearly see why they put it in there. And I had no time for it. I think I just said I won't swear on live, but I said
it's so polite, isn't it?
Exactly. I was just like, why the hell is he turning up?
Why the hell is he turning up? I think it was deliberately just to appease a minority.
Or to annoy us.
Probably that.
Yeah. Well, Robert is saying to us, Robert Payne, Rogue was there because there weren't enough irrelevant characters to complete the excuse for a script. Ginger Guy is also saying RTD is going the route of Marvel. He's throwing every controversial topic into the show and bringing back old villains and characters purely for fan service. He said that fans watching. Well done, Ginger Guy. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And Saint 194, Omega has been brought back by RTD to do something more with the Timeless Child and rewrite the lore. Well, he has said that we're going to be learning more about the Time Lords next week, hasn't he?
Which you can all forget as well, which is easily done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's bothering with that. Daryl's got a message for you, Ian. Daryl Joyce is with us. That's a cool TARDIS, Ian.
It is.
Thank you, Darryl. Yeah, Peter Cushing special, not the Matt Smith thing. It's definitely a Peter Cushing special.
Oh, Harry VTV. I'm going to see the final episode at the cinema next week. Son's Choice costs more to see it than a blockbuster movie. It's disgusting. Anyone else going? Well, I'm not. If anyone else is in the chat, please let Harry know. Harry, God bless you, because you got to sit through Wish World again, and then the Reality War. Good luck. That's all I'm saying to you. Good luck.
I'm sure that word reality is very loosely used, I would imagine. Yeah.
Well, considering that Russell doesn't know what reality is, probably. We've got Jane Smith saying to us, Rogue was probably working for the Rani all along, so his core was part of her plan to make the Doctor doubt enough. Again, as I say, everything is possible on this blooming thing. And another one from Darren Heimbrow. Thank you for your super chat. If Omega created the Time Lords, this cancels out the Timeless Child, surely. And the flash of Susan is very Rose from Midnight. I agree with that. Yeah, it was on the TV screen for us. I was really disappointed because I kept thinking, when's Carol Ann coming into this? How does she fit into this nonsense I'm watching? And she didn't. And I wouldn't put it past RTD, guys. He's to be so sure he's going to get greenlit for a third series that it's hung over till the next one.
Yeah.
And that becomes the next running topic. Oh, the rescue of Susan.
Well, as we said before, though, in the interview that they had of her, she's wearing a different costume. It looks very Time Lordy, Ruby-esque costume she's wearing, a bit like Chancellor Flavia kind of thing. And she's got a different costume, so I think she must be next week, unless, like you say, they've held it over, but I doubt it for this last episode. She must be in it. She must be.
I don't. Yeah, it's true. Actually, they couldn't have filmed something for a season 3 they haven't been commissioned for.
Yeah.
He'll bring back Flavia now that you've said that, Paul. But she'll be a disabled black lesbian activist, of course, won't she?
Wasn't she always?
Well, no.
Yeah. Who got zapped in the Death Zone? Was that Thalia? It was Thalia, wasn't it, who got zapped in the Death Zone? Because Thalia was in Arc of Infinity.
Did you?
Yeah. Because in Arc of Infinity, Thalia was there, and then you can just assume that she was sent off to the Death Zone to see what was going on there and got zapped.
Oh, is she the corpse that the Master kicks? Is that
Yeah, because there's a very reduced, budgetary reasons, there's a very reduced council.
Yeah.
They all got anyway, that's another show. Disturbance Film TV. How did Rogue know what was going on with the tables in Wish World? And what was that about? What was that about? I don't understand that disturbance. What, guys, tell me, please. What was that about?
I have no idea.
I saw that as another Wandavision thing because there is. So in episode 2 of Wandavision, they're in the 60s, and Wanda uses TV shows as a crutch from all the trauma that she's gone through. And Sword are another version of Shield, which is their version of like Unit for us. And one of the kind of detectives is using, because they've got Science Girl, and she's made this supersonic thing that he's able to speak through a walkie-talkie, and he's like, Wanda, who's doing this? This isn't right. And Wanda's hearing this through a beekeeper, and she's hearing it through the radio, and they're trying to send through signals from the real world to her world of what's going on. And that was an exact play-by-play, blow-by-blow of what happened in WandaVision.
Did you watch it more than once, Kirsty? I bet you did.
You see, I don't like all this stuff where he's just taking ideas from other writers and putting it into Doctor Who, thinking he's clever. And then it's about time that people, especially the industry, woke up and looked at this. RTD is not big. He's not, well, he's big, but he's not clever. And he's certainly not a Doctor Who writer. He doesn't know what Doctor Who is anymore. And because he's nicking ideas from other places, he's completely ruining what's going on. So basically, he's taking all this stuff that he's watched and been influenced by in other places, and then decided, oh, I can do this story with the Doctor, the Rani, and Omega. I'm getting a headache, everybody. I really am.
Yeah,
I really am. JWC Reviews is saying to us, Gallifrey is brought back via the Wish Baby. Poppy is left at the portal to become the Timeless Child. What does that mean?
That's what I'm doing.
The doctor says at the end, if you believe anything, he says, the child is real, she's mine, or something like that. When he falls with his really wonderful, convincing special effects of the balcony falls, and he falls to his death, or whatever's going to happen to him. That was really unconvincing, but he mentioned something about her being real. Or did I make that bit up?
No,
he did say that.
Did.
Yeah,
he says, if my daughter, he says, it's my daughter, like, she's real, it's my daughter.
So if that thread was to carry on, that she was the Timeless Child, then the Timeless Child was the Doctor's daughter, and the Doctor's not a Time Lord, he's another alien who produced the Timeless Child. Unless the Timeless Child is half Gallifreyan, half Timeless Child, if that's what it is, you know. Like the TV movie, you know.
Or it's all just a massive pile of shit, I think.
I would go with your theory, definitely.
The Timeless Child is Poppy, and Poppy is the Doctor's child, then the Doctor has basically fathered himself.
Oh God, I hope we're not going
That's
down
just
that
gross,
road.
Ian. That's gross. I'm telling you.
But
It is
it's true,
gross.
isn't it? Because
Yeah.
if that child is the one left at the portal, then that's the one that ultimately Whittaker's pastiche of the Doctor was told was her. So that's the Doctor fathering himself
need
to
itself.
Do you
Has
remember
anyone
we
got
talked
any
about
pastry?
counselling, JT, on
No,
the,
I
for the
I
show?
need pastry. Has anyone got any pastry? Honestly, my handbag. I mean, it's just this whole thing is ridiculous. Warren, hello, Warren. How are you? You've been waiting there. Are you sure he hasn't brought in Rogue to try and show that the Doctor was gay and not hetero married? The idea that gay people were forced into marriages. No, I'm absolutely sure he hasn't, and I don't understand all that homophobia that's come into it. I think that's a narrative from him on his view today that LGBTQ plus people and LGB people, because we're not the same, and his hypocrisy comes through that as well, and also people who are in some way or another labeled as disabled, or whatever word you want to use it, are suppressed by people. And it's just nonsense. It's utter nonsense, and that shows his absolute delusion. And the Doctor is not gay. The Doctor is a Time Lord. He's an alien from another planet. He's asexual. He always was. This drives me crazy.
Is that what that line was about with the guy from Unit saying you can't like men or something? It's wrong to like men or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
And what's happened there is Conrad's brought in, or the Rani's brought in, or no, the Rani wouldn't care. My Rani wouldn't care. Somebody's brought in this thing about, you can't be homosexual and you can't be in a wheelchair or something like that. That's why all these. That's what I'm getting from this. Who viewers, correct me if the chat if I'm wrong. That's what I'm getting from this. The fact that these people that Russell is trying to defend and champion in his twisted way are suppressed by others, and in that world, the wish world, they are. What?
He thinks that's what we all think. That's what the whole point of the wish world is. It Conrad's world, right? So it's what Conrad doesn't like homosexuals. He doesn't like disabled people, which again doesn't really make sense, because if it is the wish world of Conrad, if I understood it anyway, then why would he have Ruby in it? Why would he have disabled? If he doesn't like them, then he wouldn't have them in it. It's the wish world. So it doesn't even make any narrative sense in that sake. But it's what RTD thinks, that people actually like have problems with disabled people, like or gay people, and I guess it's just his worldview that he thinks that these people actually exist. And I'm sure you can probably find one in a million, but I can tell you most ordinary people, all of us here, we don't care, what your sexuality is, or if you're disabled. All we care about is, are you a kind, good person? Can we get along? Go by your day to day. I don't care what you get up to in your private time, etc. He's just completely like in La La Land, in my opinion. But yeah, as I said, didn't even make narrative sense within the actual story. Actually, nothing made narrative sense at all.
It didn't. None of this made sense, including the fact that it got on television. I mean, these people are so terrified. Remember, we've reported so many times now. He said no one can stop him, and that last night's episode proved it, because this was rubbish, utter rubbish. Alfie Jack is saying in Space Babies, the Doctor said he wasn't her dad, but he wished he was. Well remembered, Alfie, because all I remember from that is absolute rubbish.
Space Babies. Yeah.
Awful. A lot of you getting to where I am. Duncan's saying I've got a headache. Just Jordan saying I've got a headache. Oh, please, I know. It's awful, isn't it? Hop on Pop, says Austin Woods. Stop that right now. That's vile. Nice to see you, Cara. Nice to see you. I don't know. Frankie Staniger, this awful line, "You came from my loins."
Oh yeah. I never thought I'd hear that line in loins. That word loins in Doctor Who. Yeah.
Oh, Glenn is saying to us, hello, Glenn. I think Conrad will turn good at the end. Notice he hugged Mrs. Flood and they had a mother and son-like moment. I can see Mrs. Flood turning on the Rani. Well, that's going to happen. Glenn, that's going to happen, honestly. And he says, this is from Loz D, LD83. Nice to see you. Hello. He says, Poppy is real. Do you know what that means? Or something like that.
Yeah.
Well done for paying attention. I didn't hear that.
What I didn't understand was because
That's
so I didn't say any of it, and I've said that already. But the bit when the fantasy world, they have a daughter, they have Poppy. I'd say Poppy was quite cute. The kid was quite cute.
Yeah, she's lovely.
A lovely little kid, a lovely wee actor, I have to say. But I didn't understand all this. Of the Doctor in the fantasy world, he's John Smith, and then towards the end of the episode, he became the Doctor again. So I still don't understand the connection with Poppy and the Doctor if she's in the real world of the Doctor, not the fantasy world, if you know what I mean. So I don't understand that connection. Where does that connect? Don't get that at all.
I might do a shooty in a minute and break down and cry.
Doesn't
Poppy laugh when she laughs when I think they're like they're at a table with Belinda's parents and kind of talking about her being her mum and or kind of when the birth was, and I think Poppy, it's almost as if Poppy would like as you say, maybe from the real world, laughing as if none of that is, she knows that Belinda's not a real mum or something. I don't know, but it just came across that way when I was watching it.
That was also a copy from Wandavision as well, because in one of the scenes they ask when's like your wedding anniversary, when did you get married?
Yeah.
And they don't. It was the exact same sort of setup that they were pressured, like, how long was your labour? When was your labour? And she can't answer, and she's just a bit perplexed. It's the same.
And as far as I remember, Kirsty, that was better, much better done in Wandavision than it was here. And I actually thought the kids were quite creepy. The family, the kids, she got two boys, I think. That was quite creepy, the way they played that in it. And that was quite good, I have to say, that part of it.
What are we talking about now?
Wandavision. Sorry.
Let's get back to Doctor Who. Let's get back to Doctor Who. Let's stick to Doctor Who because it's going all over the shop. Hugh Janus, thank you so much for your super chat. What does Susan clad in white in a white TARDIS signify? Is she communicating from the afterlife? Have they bumped her off? Anything can happen, but I was expecting Carol Ann to be in this episode after hearing she was in the last one, Hugh. Not just for that little brief second, which they've obviously inserted as an afterthought from my point of view. Where is she? Is she a prisoner with Omega? Is she, has he, for some reason, he got hold of her for some the questions, and one more episode for it. Why has he done this again? He's all show and no substance, this fella. He does this all the time because he has this real gimmick that he thinks everybody wants, a big, spectacular finale. Rubbish. I want something that makes good sense and I want entertained, and nothing over these last 7 episodes has entertained me at all. It's been an absolute dire mess. Why does he do this?
It's like he's treading water for this episode a bit. He's not, it doesn't go anywhere. He's just treading water. We'll fill 45 minutes. That's one episode filled. We'll get to the finale. It's done. It's just there's no point to it. It's just utterly pointless nonsense.
Yeah. Because as an audience, we already know what the outcome of the episode is. Yeah. Right? We already know what happens. It's a waste of time for you as an audience because you know how the whole episode is going to end, and it's literally just there to name drop again a classic villain at the end of it and go it's just it's funny. It's all exposition, and then he even thinks he's clever to make a joke that Rani says, I'm not just saying this all for exposition. It's like you're not that it's not funny, and B, you're not that clever, RTD. It literally is it's a waste of time. And what he does now in this, I would say more in RTD2 era, is he sets up so many subplots in this part 1. He ain't going to be able to resolve all of this in part 2.
Of course,
no chance. You'll be good luck if he can even manage to resolve one of the subplots. He sets so much different stuff up to resolve it in whatever 60 minutes he's going to have for the next episode. It could be impossible. So just expect a load of fantasy whack that will just try and explain away all of the different stuff, and you won't feel, as an audience member, you're not going to feel satisfied at the end of this. And then I can't just say one more thing is
I was going to say you're assuming there's an audience.
Well, I think the general audience watching this are going to be like, what the hell? Why are you bringing back Time Lord Law and Mago? Like, people watching would be like, what?
Yeah.
What is all of this? Like, nobody could be able to follow this apart from the really, really niche fan to actually like this era and maybe have some knowledge of some classic stuff. I mean, I don't know where he thinks a general audience is going to be able to get on board. I mean, you compared it to all of his other finales. It's not exactly like in 2005. You could follow that. You could probably jump into Bad Wolf or Parting of the Ways and watch that. No problem. Even if you hadn't watched the previous episode of the series, this makes, I mean...
You're right with that, because let's look at the comparison. The original era, millions of British public were watching it. Millions. The fans were watching it as well. It was getting anywhere between 7 to 10 million. It was
we were loving it.
Popular. Yes.
Yeah.
Now look at it, because it's not, because he's alienated everybody. They're writing this for a minority of fandom, which is disgraceful. It should be for everybody. Problem being, saying to us, all this God stuff just means magic exists in the universe, which is just lazy writing, because you are not restricted to scientific explanations, which is a cop-out of a stupid person. And also, the Pertwee era in itself went to great lengths to say there was no such thing as magic, didn't it? The Doctor proved it several times. Sean Kesey, thank you for your super chat. A show aimed at young people, LOL, using characters that only older viewers might remember. A total, complete, and utter mess. Roll on the Daleks. Let's put this into context. I totally agree, Sean. Omega, 1973, 1983.
Well, even the Rani,
1985, 1987.
1993. So so there's only so it's kind of that's official now. So you are. So yeah.
Well, I only think it's official because he's shoehorned in something next week.
I wonder if they had to pay $200 for that slight slow-mo shot of Kate Amara looking round to say something like Greenwich Meridian or something like that. She says in Dimension of Time. I remember something like that.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember.
You've watched that way too many times.
I've watched it hundreds of times. I love it. More than twice, Ian, definitely. Yeah.
It's
Do you have the glasses still?
Yes.
Great to see you all in the chat, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Who's Views. If you're new with us, please subscribe to the channel. If you have already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. There are a few of you in the chat saying they can't wait for this to be over so that we can get back to talking about proper Doctor Who. Neither can we. It is on the way. Stay with us, because of course we're going to be returning to Doctor Who very, very shortly with John Pertwee's The Sea Devils, which has been playing recently on New and Eden. And we're also going to be doing our tribute to Jean Marsh with a look at Battlefield, everybody. So we are going back to Doctor Who. Hayden 2012 said, Rani said to the Doctor, people said we were lovers. Yeah. In the context of the show, Hayden, I don't know what the guys think. I can turn a blind eye to that. So the context of what they were saying, they were on some planet, they were dancing, and people were, and I can see people doing that, thinking, that they were. It didn't suggest that they were, because people said, and people talk. So whatever planet they were on, I can sort of turn a blind eye to that one. I don't think there was anything too suggestive in that. I won't turn a blind eye to the rogue crap, but that I can. What do you guys think?
It's just the fact that he has to go there with that kind of line. Yeah. Why does it have to be? People could have said or suggested that they were anything. Yeah. That they were working against each other, that they were collaborating with each other to do something really bad or something like that. But no, it's lovers. It's sexual references.
Again,
they can't help it. Chibnall, Moffat, all throwing them in, thinking that they're really clever and being very modern and with it and everything else. And they're just crap. And it's lazy. And it's just what you see in every other program. And that's
and he's obsessed with it as well, isn't he? He's absolutely obsessed, because it's the only thing he knows how to write. He only knows how to write soap operas and things to do with sexual topics. That's it. And he's shoehorning it back into Doctor Who. He did it in the original era for Doctor Who as well. That's all he knows. It's about time people started looking through at him. He's not the brilliant thing. He's not the best thing for Doctor Who. There are others out there that can do it properly. Robert Payne is saying to us, what bit of London has the deep countryside within short running distance by Belinda the super athlete? That's true. Yeah. And hello to Steed, who's saying to us, the British are not the only audience anymore for Doctor Who. Yeah. All right. So how am I going to answer that nicely? It's the one that matters. The reason being, if you do not have a British audience for this show, there is no show. It's the British Broadcasting Corporation, even though it's now produced by BBC Studios. If the order from BBC One doesn't come in, there's no show.
Yeah.
All I can say with that as well is don't bite the hand that fed you, and they've pretty much bit us because they're focusing on other places instead of the bread and butter that made them where they are now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, look at poor Australia.
Tidy your own
Yeah.
house before you start trying to tidy other people's houses.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what I would have done with this. So, I've said before, I wouldn't have done this spin-off thing that's coming that we all forget about. I would have just done proper Doctor Who, established that with a lead actor that can be recognised as the Doctor, damn good scripts, the British public supporting the show and talking, and then worried about the foreign market like they did back in 2005, which worked for that extent.
I'm
It
going
was
to ask you
massive when Smith
something.
was the Doctor.
You said that next week's an extra 20 minutes long.
I think
If
so, yeah.
if Shooty's leaving, I reckon that'll be 20 minutes of saying goodbye to people like Tennant did at the end of
Of course
time.
it was. Yeah.
So it'll be milked to death. No pun intended.
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody in the chat. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really not looking forward to next week's episode at all. Because if this one's confused me, Wishworld, God knows what the reality war is going to do, as he tries desperately to get it back to the reset that he needs to have it for wherever they're going next. We're not the only ones that noticed that it was all a bit bizarre last night, though. Have a look at this. From IGN.com, Doctor Who Season 2, Episode 7 review, Wishworld, a nostalgic nosedive that mistakes lore for legacy. For long-time Doctor Who fans, the return of a villain like the Rani might sound like an event. It certainly felt like one last week when she turned up with theatrical flair in the mid-credits sting of the Interstellar Song Contest. A neat surprise, powered by Archie Panjabi's steely presence and a dash of proper mystery. But in this week's Wishworld, that spark dies on arrival. Her comeback is just another awkward throwback in an episode that doesn't know how to handle its past, let alone make the present feel like it matters. Wishworld represents the worst instincts of Doctor Who's Disney era dialed up, glossy, confused, and screaming for attention. It's a limp cocktail of shameless lore dumping, shallow storytelling, and a truly baffling sense of self-satisfaction. It spends a tiresome 45 minutes of build-up just to point at old names like a magician revealing a bent spoon, hoping the gesture alone is enough to amaze. The Rani's return should have felt seismic. It's been 38 years since the evil Time Lord made her last on-screen appearance, 32 if you count, and I don't, her face-off against all the then-living Doctors and the cast of EastEnders.
It's canon, GT, face it's canon.
That's a long time, and in theory this ought to carry the same weight as the Master, crashing back into things in 2007's Utopia. That twist didn't just rely on nostalgia, it weaponized it, using it to amplify character and raise the stakes. Instead, now we get a Rani written like a stock villain with a backstory cribbled from a half-read wiki page. There's no sense of danger, no theatrical flair, no mystique, just a few arc lines, a plot that barely scans, and a breadcrumb trail to yet another dusty Time Lord pulled from the show's attic, Omega. It's a name that'll light up a handful of Reddit threads, sure, but it lands with a shrug for the vast majority who haven't been revisiting the Three Doctors on BritBox, which is, to be clear, mostly everyone. What's baffling isn't just the lack of payoff, it's how proudly this outing squanders every opportunity to deliver one. Wishworld relies entirely on prior recognition, but never lifts a finger to earn that investment in the here and now. It's obsessed with nods, references, and several meandering mystery boxes, but utterly uninterested in what any of it means. This is fan service at its most vacant, a frustrating mess that treats characters like mere collectibles that get pulled from a shelf when you're having a fancy dinner party. It's not quite the sludgy CD necromancy of The Flash, but it's cut from the same cloth, a hollow echo chamber of reveals with no build-up and a premise that promises tension but fizzles into a joyless trudge through stiff dialogue and characters who feel barely sketched in. Conrad pops up again with all the charisma of a queue at the post office. Ruby is inexplicably present but does almost nothing. And even Belinda, usually a bright spot, is reduced to exposition and reaction shots. The whole plot moves like it's dragging a piano through quicksand, slowly collapsing under the weight of its pointless name-dropping bore-fest of a script. With only one episode left, the finale now has to perform miracles, justify this mess, tie the threads together, and inject meaning where there's currently none. Doctor Who used to remix its past into something alive, urgent and new. Here, it just gawks at its own reflection, hoping a few barely recognizable names will do all the heavy lifting. Once upon a time, RTD brought heart and clarity to a show left for dead, reviving it with enough energy and emotional force to make it essential playground currency across Britain. Now it feels like he's coasting. This isn't Doctor Who with something to say. It's a desperate exposition dump, stitched together from scraps of nostalgia and noise. Worst of all, it expects that to be enough. It then goes on to say, Wishworld is the worst kind of nostalgic misfire. It's a hollow, lore-obsessed episode that squanders the return of a major legacy villain on a muddled, meaningless script that wastes its short runtime and the audience's attention. It's an empty, borderline, insulting outing that forgets why these characters mattered in the first place. The Rani and we deserve better. So he's not sitting on the fence.
No.
Yeah, a brilliant review, brilliant article. Because you're right, the Rani coming back for a new Who audience that has only basically been, I guess, used to seeing the Master pop up. That should be a big reveal, and it should be something that on its own deserves its own attention, because I think the Rani offers a very different kind of contrast to the Master, in the fact that she's scientific. She doesn't want to kill everyone for chaos sake, but she believes in kind of experimenting. She focused on life, so it's a very, very different dynamic, and you could really explore that in depth. That kind of the difference between the Rani version of what she believes she's doing, which the Doctor may see as evil, versus maybe that of the Master, etc. That kind of theme should be really dug into, and that should be what an episode should be trying to explore a little bit deep. This episode doesn't explore any of that, and the writer said it just load of nonsense filling a page, which we said doesn't make any sense. It doesn't give any of the characters anything really to do, or any real justice to the Rani coming back. So it's just nostalgia for nostalgia's sake.
I agree.
I think they missed an opportunity with setting up the Rani better. I think the Anita Dobson stuff, Anita Dobson's wasted in this anyway as well, as a fantastic actor. But it's like she had no idea she was the Rani from the start. If she did, then she would have played it more sinisterly. So that was a wasted opportunity. And Archie's wasted completely with our presence of the Rani. Wasted time, And the thing about, can I say one thing? The thing about this episode that got me as well, I don't care enough for the Doctor and Belinda and Kate Stewart and Shirley Bingham and all these kind of people enough to see him playing a different character. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I have to agree. I mean, I'm heartbroken because I've said an awful lot. I like Archie. I really like Archie. I think she's a lovely actress. What the hell have they given her here? I mean, God, they did the same to an extent with Michelle when they gave her the Master, when they should have given her either the Rani or a brand new character. I'm watching Archie last night, struggling with a shallow script and not much given to her. She's obviously gone off and looked at Kate as well. I'm sure she's done her homework. Only 2 stories with Kate. And she's gone off to look at that. She's gone off to look at that to get an essence. No disregard, no disrespect to the beautiful, the wonderful, the gorgeous Kate O'Mara, but it was only the mark of the Rani really that got the Rani put down. So you can't really do too much with 2 45-minute episodes, in my opinion.
But she's a good stab, don't you think? She's got the essence of it. Yeah.
And we'll have to. We're coming back. We've got the last one to do, and she's in the last one. But all I see here is, as Emilio said there, as you alluded to, Paul, any old baddie coming in here. This could be anybody. He's not nailed it, and this is why I think they should leave the characters in the past, leave the characters, the legacy characters in the past, because these people muck it up. They muck it up, And bearing in mind, all I kept thinking was last night, this is what I've got instead of Yellow Fever. And for those of you that don't know, this was the alleged season 22 story written by Bob Holmes, which had the Rani, the Master, the Autons, all in bloody Singapore with Colin Baker. That would have been a big one, but he would have written the Time Lords properly.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is what I got instead. RTD flapping around like a seal. Lex, thank you so much for your super chat. Yellow tea mugs. It must have cost a lot in the budget. I don't understand.
I kept thinking during that, I wonder if they got a job lot from IKEA. I thought to myself.
I still don't understand it. And the general audience is excited about Omega, says Steve. I hope that's funny. Going back to this. I don't understand. I still don't get this. How did he get here? I mean, the power of a wish put him into this situation. Oh, please. I don't.
But it's like, again, we already had the Doctors, John Smith and Human Nature. And whether you like David Tennant or not, he did it much better, in Human Nature, Family of Blood. but I don't think Shooty's versatile enough to do two versions of a character, you know. So
you can't play the Doctor even as a straight man. That would that's a funny thing. Yeah. And as you're right, Paul, in human nature, David Tennant is able to make his version of John Smith quite meek, quite stumbling with his words. He's very clear in that episode, in that two-parter. There's a very, very much a difference between John Smith, and as an audience member, you're waiting. You want the Doctor to come back, and then when he comes back,
it's brilliant.
It's a complete difference, right?
Yeah.
With Shooty, it's like, dude, man, you can't even. I don't even believe for a second you could play a straight man. The minute he said "Good morning, darling," it's like, who talks like that?
It should be called Fantasy World rather than Wish World, to be honest, or Fantasy Island or something like that. Yeah.
Don't you find with a lot of the TQIA cult, when you get these men that are cosplaying as women, they're not actually trying to be women, are they? They're parodies. They accentuate excesses that they think or perceive as being normal, and they're not, which is one of the reasons why they're so laughable. And that's what they're doing here as well. He's doing a parody of a straight married couple, and he can't do it. It's like you say, two versions of the same character, he can't do it. He's pushed to do one version of a character, to be fair, but everything is parodies, and they're in the same way that I see, these people that call themselves trans women. I think they're insulting to women because they do the extreme parody element of it, and but they don't care. And Davis doesn't care about writing things like this because he doesn't give a shit about straight people. He hates them. Yeah. We're all hateful, aren't we? Because we all hate disabled people, and we all, especially if we're white, my God, we hate gay people, we hate disabled people, we hate everything. We're just so full of hate, aren't we?
Well, according to
and
him,
the only person talking hate is Russell T Davies, isn't it? It's odd.
And his cult brethren, if you like, the people that follow him. This is why I say not one of these people, either behind the scenes or in front of the camera on this version of Doctor Who, are role models, and I'm including Tennant in that. Not one of them is a role model, because that's all they push. Stephen Braddock, thank you for this. The scene of the dance was a direct steal from Batman when the Joker waltzed from Vicky Vale. Good point.
I love
that dance thing. Yeah. A few times before. We had the Master doing it. You guys have told me the Master's done it twice, because apparently he did it with Jodie Whittaker, and now it's done again. It's another one. Oh, look, there's the glitter ball. You know what's coming. Oh, what track's going to get played now? This time it was different because it was classical. Oh, yippee-do. Don't have to pay anything for that, do you? And Ginger Guy is saying that Rogue is there to try and replace Captain Jack, which will never happen because Jack was brilliant. He never loved the Doctor. He loved everyone and everything, which I thought worked so much better. You're absolutely right, Ginger Guy. They've fallen out with, in their hypocritical manner, with the lovely John Barrowman, something he did 21 years ago and was sorted 21 years ago. Utter.
And I know we're all kind of wishing this is a parallel universe or a dream or whatever, but it wouldn't surprise me if it does turn to be a parallel universe and all this is literally running parallel with the Doctor's Russell's previous work. That's why it's so similar, But that's going to be too much credit to think actually a clear idea, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
The whole thing is exhausting, isn't it? Isn't it, Who viewers? It's absolutely exhausting. Joe Chapman is saying to us, finally, the media worms turn. They have started to here, haven't they, guys? We're starting to see it. We're trying to put it in the shows. We'll talk about it in headlines. The media here is now turning on Doctor Who. We saw it big time this week and also this weekend. Some of them. Mark S., the biggest indication of what was to come was that scene with Davros. Oh, since then, it's been a barrage of issues and agendas, all the expense of good storytelling. Yeah. No argument from me.
Yeah.
Hang on. Steve is saying to us, being British isn't what it once was. It's more than in the past. Step into the future. What does that mean? What's that supposed to mean? We are British.
I think it'd help if Steve said
Scottish.
It would help if Steed said where he came from to base that opinion, because to be quite honest, say he's American, for example, I'd never tell an American how to be. And I'd really appreciate it if a foreigner wouldn't tell somebody who's British English how to be, because you don't have a lived experience. You probably don't have 50 odd years of watching this program and following it and investing in it. So I don't know.
Well, here's Steve
like-
again saying it's inevitable. The world is changing and the British are no longer the centre. Britain is in a poor country based on an outdated money system. I think he's taken the rise out of us.
Yeah, I think probably.
You choose to watch a British show. That's it.
And come on a British YouTube channel. But again, I would still like to know where he's coming from.
I think that's
never put an opportunity to
nonsense.
Admittedly, the British Empire is not what it was.
Can I just say as well, from my point of view, as a very proud British person and citizen who's paid his taxes all his life, and believes in democracy and freedom of speech, the majority of our problems are bloody American, because they're always importing. You guys, if you're American, a lot of our problems are from America. Look at this whole TQ cult nonsense that's gone on, where we've now got generations of kids confused because do-gooding adults are turning around saying a man can have a vagina. No, he can't. All this BLM nonsense came from America. We don't have the same history. We're far better in lots of history. We're one of the most tolerant countries in the world and welcoming, and we've been taking the pee out of big time. So no, I don't actually like what's happening there. We are a British channel, and we will celebrate being a British channel, and that's the end of it. Right, where else am I going here now? Because I'm not going to bother with him anymore, because he seems to just be messing around in the chat, so I'm not going to bother with you. Trek Matt's with us. I also still wonder why Moffat said that he read the script to next week's finale before he wrote the last Xmas special. Is the hotel linked to all this? I doubt it, to be honest, but again, anything is possible. John Booth wants to know, where are the former cast members or doctors critical of this shit show? The time of keeping quiet and milking a living on this once beloved show must end. If you care, speak up. Well, some of them have gently started to do it, but I think generally some of them either don't care, have walked away, or are worried.
Well, you see one in particular, don't you, who I absolutely adore and always have.
Yes,
putting out regular videos after each episode, basically getting almost perversely excited about how wonderful it was, and especially the Eurovision one or the interplanetary one, where you've got the Doctor active, or the person who's portraying a character that's supposed to be based on the Doctor, actually actively enjoying torturing somebody and saying that's wonderful. And you know full well, when you worked with Pertwee, you know full well he would never have stood with that. He would have not had anything to do with that. And Barry Letts and Terrence Dicks would never have written anything like that. So I don't know what you're basing this is all wonderful on, but it is quite sad to see how some of them are. But I think, like we've said before, desperate not to be excluded from the conventions and stuff like that. But trust me, if they took a stand, they'd be way more popular at the conventions going forward in the years ahead. Way more popular.
We know from what happened last time round, when this thing does come off the air, if it's for a certain amount of time, they get brave because they're not going to get work from it. And the only people that will employ them are the fans. And that's it. We are not, we're not going to get to see anyone from, I reckon, Eccleston's era onwards at small homespun conventions like we all know, because they've been spoilt rotten, just like some of their fan base, by Comic Con, who gives them thousands of pounds to turn up, and then they earn thousands of pounds when they're there because they charge far too much. So that's why I think the whole convention circuit is doomed. It's on a timer because we're losing too many of the 63 to 89 teams. God love them. So it is doomed. Comic Con is the future, whether we like it or not, because they've got the money. But it doesn't mean that they don't have to say something. And I think certain people are quite conspicuous by their absence, put it that way. But I think they will start to speak. And certainly all of them will be welcome to come onto Who's Views and talk to us. It'd be great to see them all. Great to see them all. There is a lot of you in the chat with us. Thank you so much for joining us. We've still got a lot to
smack the like button. Do us all a favor and smack the like button.
Ooh,
all 450 plus of you.
Yeah,
hit it hard.
There is a lot of you with us, so thank you so much for that. And we've still got a lot to get through. Don't forget, towards the end of the show, we will be asking you for your scores on the TARDIS doors. That is coming up. We're also going to right now be looking at the result of last week's The Crying Game. Okay, so this is all just for fun at shooting at RPD's and the Doctor's expense. That's all. It's for fun. But every week we look at how many times we think Gatwa's Doctor is going to cry in the following week's episode. Now, for this particular episode for Wish World, Kirsty said he was going to cry twice. Paul said he was going to cry 3 times. Jodie went for 2.5. Yeah, Jodie went for 2.5. Ian went for 4.25, whatever that is. Emilio, you went for 4 and I went for 1. Well, the answer is he didn't cry at all.
We did.
Told me.
Yeah,
It was the entire audience, or 1.83 million, that were crying in last night. So, however, here we go again. Next week is, thank goodness, the last episode of this particular version of Doctor Who. It could be the last for quite some time. So, for the last time from us, I'm going to ask Kirsty, how many times do you think the alleged Doctor will be crying in the reality war?
The hell with it. 4.
That's just a smack from Clara, is it? Probably. Yeah.
It could be a big show for him next week. Ian, how many times do you think he's going to cry?
If it's his last episode and if he's facing a regeneration and obviously he won't want to go and all this rubbish, so he's going to be mega upset, I'm going to go for broke. I'm going to say 6.
6 throughout the whole episode. He's not going to have time to battle Omega, is he? Paul, if he should be crying, how many times?
That's what I was going to say for the whole 66 minutes, maybe. I don't know.
66.
I don't know how many times either. How many times? One constant cry for the entire episode.
Well, that'll be me.
Oh, that'll be you. Yeah.
Keep up with the bloody plot. I say plot.
Okay, I'll stick with 3, but there's going to be significant moments. There'll be the regeneration. He'll cry on that. He'll cry meeting Susan, and he'll cry when the Rani needs him and the Ghoulies as well. Probably that'll be another one that happens. Yeah.
Well, she did do that with the Ainley Master, didn't she?
Well, that's what she might do to Shooty as well, just for a reference. Yeah.
He's got 4. Emilio,
so 3.
It's 3 for Paul. And Emilio, how many do you think?
He's going to go on his last-minute, 20-minute regeneration tour, and he's going to cry saying goodbye to Shirley, to Kate, to basically everybody. So I'm going to go for a whopping 9 or something like that.
My gosh. Oh my goodness. Emilio's
Good
been out.
Now you're just being silly. You're just being silly.
I think he's being stunning and brave, actually.
That'll be our first, I'll tell you that.
Gav B in the chat is saying he'll drown Omega with his tears. Russell T. Davis himself has joined us in the chat saying the tears have to come from the eyes. Behave yourself, get in the corner. I'm going to say 3. I'm going to say he's going to cry 3 times in the finale next week. Yeah, I am. A lot of you in the chat saying what you're thinking. Thank you for that. It's all in the name of fun at somebody else's expense. That's what it's all about. That's all. So don't worry too much about it. But look at that one. There he is there. Can I bring that up? Why doesn't it let me bring it up? Hold on a second there. He's back. Oh, we don't like you. Ginger Guy is saying to us, yeah, he's going to beat Omega by hugging him and crying together about Gallifrey or some crap like that. Mark Greaves will say he'll regenerate because of dehydration.
Yeah.
And Entertainment Creator is just joining us saying, I didn't mind the new episode. Woo! Really? Please let us know why. P. Ferreira is also just joining us now as well. Nice to see you. Yeah, good grief. Right, okay, so that's that particular one. Where are we going to now? I've forgotten. Where's my running order? Oh yeah, so lots still to come for you, everybody. Lots still to come for you. There is something I just want to talk about before we get on to the next one, and we have to address this. What was this about? What was all this about? This and the whole homophobic thing. This was, for me, ridiculous. Now, at this point, I'm going to say I am very well aware that I have seen today very proud parents whose children are in wheelchairs were included as part of this sequence or something like that, this scene. Yeah, nice. But the point is, it was written, in my eyes, badly. And they were made to be the subject of something incredibly insulting in this particular version of the world. I just don't get what the message that he was putting there. It's like you were saying before, Ian, that's not Doctor Who to me.
So many things I want to say, but I'll get us demonetized, so I'll shut up. So, boys, on you go.
Can you keep it clean?
No.
No.
It's not being done very subtly, is it? It's very ham-fistedly done. In the same way, you got rid of Davros because Davros is in a wheelchair. It's creating problems where there aren't any problems. But I do kind of agree what Amelia said in terms of representing what potentially that Conrad may be thinking about treating that kind of demographic. But that's representing the kind of white gammon male, isn't it? That's the thing.
That's the whole point.
Yeah. So but it's so ham-fistedly done, so unsubtly done. It's really done really crassly and badly. That's the problem, you know.
Yeah, but I think it's again it's to kind of go back to the Davros thing where it's just so distasteful to say just I don't think disabled people want to be portrayed as just purely good. They're human beings.
Well, they're not. That's the thing. They're not black and white like that, are they? That's the thing.
Them and us. We all have different things that happen in your life, whether it's physical, mental, whatever. That you just have to deal with in life. But we're all got good parts of us, bad parts of us. If it works the other way, RTD. Sorry, it's hypocrisy. You can't come out and say we can't have Davros in a wheelchair because I don't want disabled people to be shown as basically villains. On the other hand, then if you're gonna try and address this trope that you believe exists in film, then you got to then show a much more nuanced version of people in wheelchairs. You don't go the complete opposite way and portray them just as purely good. It's insulting. They should be shown as characters like the rest of characters, and in this they just purely shown basically if you're disabled, you're one of the good ones, and basically there are people out there that want to basically put disabled people away in society and hide them. I mean, again, who in society is promoting or thinking this in our world? Like you'll be hard to find anyone who thinks like that. And I think that's what you were saying, Paul, right? It's creating a problem that doesn't actually exist.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the same. I mean, I totally agree with what you said there. But this actually, for me, was too crossing the line again in this bloody series, because he was pushing this whole vision that he has, as Ian has said, as Paul said, Kirsty said, as you've said, that everybody is bad and evil and looks down on people because that's the world they've created. And that somebody because we know the character of Conrad is everything that they detest. He's right wing, basically, isn't he? Actually, in my opinion, Conrad is them, because Conrad encompasses and represents all their opinions on people. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I think that RTD, unwittingly and unknowingly, because he's a bit dim, has created and put all his optry and ist and phobia into Conrad, thinking it's everybody else, especially versions of Doctor Who fans that they don't like, when it's actually them. It's them. He stands for them. And I just thought this was ridiculous. And I didn't like the way that it was portrayed that society is getting at gay or same-sex attracted people, because that's you lot in the TQ cult, and that people in a wheelchair especially were going to be punished. How does his mind, why is his mind so perverse? How did he get through the day?
Well, that you've made this point, JT, numerous times, not just this year, but last year as well, that he is just an angry man at the world. And again, we and you all in the chat, we've all got stuff that we've all been through in the world, and it's horrific that there's the hard times and the good times. You've got to ride through it, ask for help or go get some help. And at times as well, with life, with jobs or whatnot, you shouldn't be in those positions for the state of your health or for others. And I think that people are like, oh, he's going to save it. Da, 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 da. He's not saved it. He's made it worse because he has just put what he's thinking into this. and spinning it that we are the bad people.
Yeah.
Where he should have gone and with stuff that went on in his life, which is horrific, and no one should ever go through that. Which is like we do have to go through that. He should have gone and not done that, because I don't think it was the right place, right time for him stably or mentally to be writing like this again. Go and do your lovely dramas on Channel 4, that you can have that message and be able to put your anger out onto your work instead of this.
And that's exactly what he's gone and done, because he's working on this TQ cult drama now for Channel 4. He's not working on Doctor Who this year. Good. Let him go. Just get him gone. And this is typical what you're saying, Kirsty. I totally agree, because this is typical of people like him who feel that they are empowered and correct in being able to preach to the rest of us. It's all over the place in show business and in the alleged entertainment industry. It's sick. And they are what they say we are. They are the ots, the ists, and the phobes. And these scenes in Doctor Who, more of which I'm sure are to come next week, wound me up slightly. As Rory and Cheryl and friends too here, as a disabled person, I'm angry. You have every right to be, and you should be. David is back with us, David Shaw. I have autism. I've always liked Doctor Who. Good show, but can get better next time it returns. David, you're right. You're absolutely right. And thank you for joining us. You're very welcome here. Hopefully you'll come back and watch the Sea Devils with us and Battlefield and everything else we've got. We've got the Sarah Jane Adventures to start reviewing soon as well for a bit of fun. We're going to be looking at that. Lots coming up for you all. But David, thank you for being with us on these shows, telling us what you've liked as well. Really appreciate it. Tim Kins is saying neither the homophobia and disabled bigotry was set up at all. It's RTD just putting in all the bad things, all the stories, because he feels like it. He's the homophobe in Doctor Who now.
He's I completely agree with everything that Kirsty said. Beautifully articulated. I just think it's also the fact that he just needs a cause. Like, these people need a cause. It's almost like a religion to them in the sense that it's they need. It's almost like they need to live and to have some sort of form of purpose. They need to manufacture. The fact that there's loads of people that are homophobic and people that hate disabled people, just so that they get a sense of moral virtue. And I think that's ultimately what it comes down to.
Totally.
He's just one of the people in it. As Kirsty said, he had disbelief and he's angry as well. And the two things make what we're watching on screen, basically.
Totally agree. We've got thank you for everybody in the chat. Austin Wood is saying, I'm disabled and please treat me like a god. I clearly don't have an ego as it is. And Killbot, I'm in a wheelchair. Seeing this made me sick. I'm not surprised it did with me as well. And I'm really annoyed. Reviews, rants, and religion. RTD is using disabled people as a novelty act and just using them for brownie points to say how good he is. They have created problems as well, haven't they? Reviews, rants, and religion. They are supreme virtue signaling attention seekers. Oh, look at me. I'm a nice person. I'm a good person. But they're not, because they've created the problems arising around it to make themselves look like.
That's what he does, isn't it? With he'll say 6-8 months ago, and we've touched on this before. He'll say 6-8 months ago, we don't have enough diverse writers, knowing full well that he's already had scripts and started filming with scripts from minority writers. And then he can just say, well, I raised this issue and now look, I fixed it. He's played that part all along. It's just another level of gaslighting. But I mean, I've hated what he's done with the disabled people in this as well. And we've had disabled people in Doctor Who before throughout the years, and it's never been an issue. Top man, Battlefield, the guy's wife in the pub was blind. Terror the Autons, Tony the Strong Man was mute. Like Invasion of Earth, Dortmund was in a bloody wheelchair, and everything else. I mean, Moonbase, God's sake, we even had somebody who was French. We've had these kind of people before.
That went too far, that particular episode.
That was absolutely Nabil Shaban, who's been on this show.
Absolutely.
We didn't make a big deal of it. And also, at all the conventions, Ian, we went to in the 90s, various people with the conditions that are now all labelled and badged. But to us, they were just fellow fans. We didn't care. And he should know that. He's betrayed us by making us out to look like the bad guys. Let's have a look some more, because I've got some more chats here. If the whole world is based on Conrad's wishes and Conrad doesn't see disabled people, why are there any disabled people in his world? It's barely believable. Good point. But again, it ties in with it's RTD writing this. Thank you for your super chat, Andy Rad Art. Those obsessed with identity think everyone else is an istophobe. It's so ironic. As I say, they're the ones with the they've created all these problems, Andy. Thank you very much. Major Rizzo, it's good to see you. Thank you. Welcome to Host Views. Somewhere along the line, whinging and whining became virtuous. This is what I don't understand. We had all this sorted years ago, and suddenly it's all back again because of these people just doing it. Oh, this. I just don't get where we went wrong. Thank you, Duxup Productions. Good to see you. I wouldn't even mind a certain amount of messaging if it served a compelling and coherent story, but it doesn't. It's just sign holding. Good. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask you an off-topic question? Is Duck Soup a Marx Brothers fan, or does he make soup from ducks? I just want to check.
Because you can get both. And Andrew Swanee, thank you so much, Andy, for your lovely super chat there. RTD's second run is like Haim Saban, is that right? Buying back Power Rangers, where it got very nostalgia drunk and talking down to fans. Now, Andrew, I'm going to let you into a little secret. I'm probably a couple of years older than you, and I don't know who the Power Rangers are. I remember something going on and colours that made them look like Teletubbies. Was that before or after the Teletubbies?
Rangers. I had a pink Power Ranger, JT. What are you talking about? Okay.
What was that one called, Kirsty? There's a name, another pink one.
I don't know, but I just thought
Yes, but I'm about 3 or 4 years older than you, dear. So thank you for that, Andrew. Really appreciate that. We're laughing at. Thank you very much, Andrew. Really appreciate that. Entertainment Creator was saying Eccleston was right. I think there's more of that story to come.
Yeah.
Stay with us, because I think there's
more.
Look
out for his book. Yeah.
And Pete Ferreira is saying, I have no nostalgia myself towards New Who. I called out issues with the show when it began. Well, people like you, Pete Ferreira, are proving to be right now. The rest of us just wanted good entertainment. We wanted Doctor Who back. And this was always a fear, I think, from a lot of people when they brought back Doctor Who, about how would certain people take it on. And it's just ironic that right now we're living at a time when I remember defending RTD when he got the gig in 2003, because everybody was saying he's going to make the Doctor gay, queer as folk, and he didn't. It just took him 20 years to do it.
As we said before, though, would he have done it if Mal Young wasn't there to rein him in a little bit? You know, I wonder.
And he had nobody like that, did he, this time around?
If he would have done it sooner rather than later, what would he have waited 20 years to do it if he didn't have people reining him in?
I think if he'd done it sooner rather than later, it wouldn't have made 20 years. I don't think.
Yeah.
He still had something to prove, I think.
Yeah.
Because he still had something to prove in 2003. And he's already had his success. So now he feels he can do what the hell he wants. So, you know, for him at his stage of life, the show becoming successful again, it's not at the top of his agenda. Whereas in 2004, 2003, he had a lot of people. He knew the show was seen as silly. He knew that people would be thinking that he would make the Doctor gay, and he didn't do that. I think it just. A lot can happen in 20 years. You can change a lot in 20 years, and the world changes a lot in 20 years. And I think that's ultimately, unfortunately, for those of us who, when we got the announcement back in, was it 2021, when he came back, we're thinking, great, finally something gonna, take things back. I think when we should have been listening to all of his speeches that he was doing, that should have been the red flag to go, we're probably not going to get the same RTD as the one that we had.
Oh, I knew. As soon as he went to the Attitude Awards and started kicking off, I thought we're in trouble. But I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, because I thought he was professional, this old-fashioned thing we call about professional, and would leave all his political ambitions at the door. He didn't. And from the moment I saw the Star Beast and we got to that particular point with the aliens saying where the meep was going, what's your pronouns or whatever, that's when I thought this is going to be absolute crap. How right I was. Stephen Braddock, thank you. Speaking as someone who has had mental disabilities, I felt insulted. Not all disabilities are physical. How dare he preach down to us and put us in tribal groups? They do that with everything. These people on the far left want us in groups because they love segregation and they want it back. We see it every day. It's happening. We've got to stand against it. And B, They can only understand us if they slap a label on us. Oh, you're white heterosexual male. Boo, you can't be employed or do anything. Oh, you're queer, you're trans, hurrah, you're going to get everything. Oh, you're in this particular color group. Fantastic, we're going to give you all this. That's how DEI works. When you look at things that come through with DEI, especially when you're recruiting or you're working on certain projects, tick box after tick box after tick box. I had this in a former job when I got into trouble for saying you've missed one box here. Guess what the box was? White people.
Right.
Wasn't there.
It would have. Sorry, JT. I could say it would have been more powerful had they just had different people, right? That ended up in the kind of underground, outside of society. You didn't need to explain, they're this. So that means that they're good and that they're, they can see what, they can question. They have doubts and they can question things. It should just be that naturally, human beings, if you've got a whole world, you probably would get 100 or so people that maybe will, it doesn't matter who they are, will just wake up to that and just leave it like that. I don't think you needed to go there and start specifying that it's all disabled people or whatever. It should have just, that would have been much more of powerful and just speak to the fact that it's human nature, that you'll have people that will follow the crowd and then some people that will rally against it. That would have been a much more powerful message.
He's done it. He's done that before. If we look at the end of the Martha season 3, series 3, I can't remember the episode now, the one that reintroduced the Master, Utopia, is that correct?
Yeah, Utopia.
Right.
Yeah.
So all those people waiting, that was how it should be, wasn't it? That was different people. That was the end of the human race, all different. And of course, back then you didn't see anybody in his scripts that was in a wheelchair or had autism or whatever, because he didn't care, quite frankly. That's not what it was about. It was about writing a script. But now they're all DEI obsessed. So I was quite surprised, Emilio, what you're saying, that it wasn't like that last night, because he's done everything else. But last night, what he did in that script is he made it about a certain set of people, thinking he's clever and he's big and he's the right side of it. Oh, all the usual nonsense. Jane Smee is saying to us here, they had the lady with dwarfism last week, not commented on at all, and that's how it should be. Yes. Yeah, absolutely, Jane. Great point. And AKA is with us saying, I don't think it's reasonable to think that RTD is doing this against the wishes of the BBC. It's a decision made in tandem. Yes, it is. The BBC is full of far left lunatics. Show business is. So yes, absolutely. And he's leading the charge. It's as simple as that. He absolutely leads the charge with it all. I just wanted to talk about that, guys, because I watched that last night and I was so annoyed about it. I thought, here he goes, the preaching thing and the homophobic thing as well. And I just thought, who the hell are you kidding? You can't even tell a man has a penis. You've forgotten what being gay is all about, you absolute cretin.
He does it with race, though, doesn't he, as well, a lot. I mean, we've talked about Conrad and his wishes and everything else, and because he's supposed to be far right and basically us because we're evil. But if that was the case, why was the unit officer, commanding officer, Asian guy there? Because surely he wouldn't like Asians there, would he? And why did a black person and an Asian woman, why were they allowed to be married? And why were they allowed to have a house? Because surely in an idealized far right world, they wouldn't be allowed to have anything.
They wouldn't have been,
But,
they would have been the dispossessed,
But one thing I did notice, perhaps because I'm just too sad, but one thing I did notice was, UNIT, the way UNIT's always been portrayed, it's multinational, it's multi-ethnic and all that kind of thing. And I don't care, frankly, but it always is. And every time you see things, it's always multinational, because Britain isn't allowed to be anything else. It's, you go to Africa, it can be all black, as we saw, but you can't do that in England, not allowed. But last week we had the Doctor, black guy, or the guy portraying the character loosely attached to the Doctor, played by a black guy, torturing a white guy. Great. Love it. They love that. It was fantastic. When she resting bitch face rang up and reported him and they sent the police round, did you notice? Every one of those police that turned up was white. Every single one that carted him out was white.
Were they?
There was no ethnic mix, nothing. Probably the only time in RTD Who that you saw they were all white, because they were doing something that was seen as bad to the Doctor. So now it was a turn on last week. It was a load of white guys all there beating down on this poor black man. And it's
So again, there's you could say, I may be reading into it. There's a message there.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know,
I've
even Juliet Bravo, played by Anita Dobson, was white. There you go. You know. So
yeah. Oh, I've forgotten she was in that scene. Charles 1642. Thank you very much for joining us. I might watch K9 and Company later. Thanks for another great show, everyone. You're very welcome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. If you're new to our channel, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up. If you have already joined us, and I know a lot of you in the chat have, please make sure you're still subscribed. Thank you for all for joining us. We've got more to come for you tonight as well. G35, Doctor Who needs new blood behind the camera, just as much, or I'd argue more so, than in front of the camera. I'm bored with this iteration. RTD has had his turn. It's time for new blood and new direction. We're with you, 100% G35. G35's missus watched this last night as well. She didn't understand a bloody word of it, and not we. That's what you get. That's when they switch off. And the not we's are just as important as the fans. They have to be there. Bill Silver. The irony is RTD can produce good stuff. The Dalek Davros two-parter was excellent. If he's done properly, and if he's got a decent script editor, which this time around he obviously didn't, and when he's not power mad, which this time around he has been, because nobody can stop him. Nobody's going to say no to him. Ada, it's good to see you. Ada Gedden. We just want well-written stories. It didn't used to be a big deal that a character was gay, etc., etc. Yeah. Again, this is the problem, Ada. I totally agree with you, but I don't want all this nonsense in Doctor Who. It's not a soap. And they've brought it all into Doctor Who, thinking they're big and clever, and they're showing their virtue. I'm gay. I don't want gay characters in Doctor Who. I don't want the Doctor to be gay. I just want science fiction. Bugger off with all your soap. Go and watch EastEnders or Corrie. Yeah. Bring back Brookside. Yes, please. I'd have a role. Yes. You know, I don't want it. I don't want it in Doctor Who. I just want the Doctor and the Daleks and the Cybermen and all that bad, brilliant new monsters. Is it too much to ask? Obviously.
And if we're all so bad, why do we all love Captain Jack? Why is he such a popular character?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's also down to John, isn't it? And his talent to being able to capture an audience. Yeah. You know. Oh, listen, Clive's with us as well. Did anyone notice there were no babes and sweetie talk and Shooty was more bearable, said Clive Simpson?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't either. Possibly because it wasn't supposed to be the Doctor, was it?
Yeah, that would be things that Conrad would hate, being white and male. So it would be not allowed to be said.
Yeah, I think that was it. Because I think there's a scene when he was. It wasn't just the gay thing, but there was also the way he was responding to certain things. Was showing that he was more like the Doctor, a bit more sassy and stuff, and you're meant to talk very straight. I think that was the whole thing as well.
Yeah, everything's not allowed.
Yeah, basically.
So is that a gay man writing for straight people? Because surely in RTD's world, that's not allowed.
Yeah, because you don't have the experience.
No.
Again, it shows his own prejudices
and hypocrisy.
Yes, all the time. It wounds me up. Aunt B is with us saying, Conrad wish no gay, no disabled, no black. RTD thinks Conrad is the anti-Doctor audience. Conrad is the insult. Yes. And Daniel's with us. Hello, Daniel. I hear RTD's ableism content for disabled people is on show again. God, I hate this man. I'm with you there now as well. I was tolerating him for such a long time, but the last 3.5 years, no. Got no time for the cretin at all. Don't like him. Heretic saying to us here, the way RTD stated, no one can say no to him. If he came off as really grapey as a white male, he shouldn't be so threatening. He did say that, though. We reported it. Yeah, Matthew's telling me he used to do film extra work in Brookie. Oh, I bet you've got some stories then, mate, haven't you? Hey? Oh, fabulous. Do you know, my cousin lives on Brookside Close now. Yeah. Anyway, so there we go. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Who's this? Jamie Tipton. I stopped watching after the 60th special, so watching channels like this has saved me the time and effort to. Jamie, I'm not going to lie to you. Don't bother. It's all absolute shite. It's awful, and it winds me up. And I'm so glad that next week's the last one because it's.
And I don't think it's the kind of series you can go back to and think, "Oh, I'll give it a reappraisal. It'll be good." No way.
No, you're right there. Actually, you're right because it's just so it's going to date. It's going to date. If you're new to us here, we've still got a couple of things coming up for you. One of which now is my Uncle Sydney's woke-ometer. Yes, Uncle Sydney is over there waiting patiently. What the woke-ometer is all about, everybody, is, if you don't know, is that my Uncle Sydney built this lovely thing out of Angel Delight and elastic bands and a bit of Blackpool rock. And it's the best bit of AI you're ever going to get, because what it does, we forced it, the poor thing, it's actually shaking now and steam's coming out of it, because we forced it to watch this particular episode of Doctor Who. I think it's going to blow up at some point, might not get to next week. But it watched Doctor Who, then it's joined us here in the chat. It's looked at everything that you guys are saying in the chat, and it's also been listening to everything that's in the panel have said. God help it. So
does Sydney have to watch it as well? Can just check?
Uncle Sydney, have you watched it? He's just said something rude to me.
Okay. I don't blame him. It's fine. Yeah.
No. He's over there with a clipboard and his Who's Views pencil, checking it all. Is it ready? It needs more butterscotch Angel Delight, does it? We'll feed it. So yes, now coming up for your delight and delectation, out of 10, how woke was Doctor Who alleged Wish World? Let's have a check. Turn up, everybody, turn up. Oh, there we go. There we go. Well, there we go, everyone. Isn't that the third time in this series we've had an off the scale?
Yeah, it'll be broken for next week now, won't it?
Yeah, it's knackered now, isn't it? Yeah.
How you doing, Uncle Sydney? How you doing with that? Yeah, there's a bit of smoke coming over everybody. I don't know if it's going to last another episode, but there we go. That is terrible, isn't it, everybody?
About right, though. About right.
Oh, my goodness. But it is, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous episode, that one. But that's you lot. Aunt B was saying 15. Gab B was saying 11. Joe Chapman thinks LOL. RTD says Mudcrab wanted to make Conrad the ultimate evil, so he made Conrad into a straight white male story hour. Huh. Yeah, a lot of you getting it right with 10. Just went over the 10, everybody, so well done. Warren Hardy, I like the first season of Torchwood. Stand in the corner. It could have developed into a British X-Files. Well, it could have done, but they decided to go all nonsense, didn't they? Yeah. I know that one down there quite likes Torchwood. Yeah, strange. Yes, we've got all that coming up. Okay, thank you, Milo. Right, let's get going now, everybody, because as I say, we've got a lot coming up for you. What we do now, everybody, is we're going to get into the ratings game. This is the point of the show where I ask you in the chat and you in the panel what you think the next edition of Doctor Who is going to get. We are looking at the finale. I hate that word. It's going to be the Reality War. If you want to put in your guesses as the next one, put it into the chat. I will look at them after the show, because there's a lot of you in there with us tonight. Over 400 again tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Fantastic. Lovely to see you all. All right, then. So I'm going to start with Kirsty, lady of the chat. So don't forget, the overnight rating for Doctor Who Wish World was 1.83. You're going higher or lower for the Reality War?
Lower, 1.7.
Kirsty is going lower for the Reality War with 1.7. Third Doctor, Ian.
Lower, 1.37.
Way.
1.37 from Third Doctor, Ian. Paul.
Well, using my ready reckoner and a slide rule, I'm going to come to this conclusion. 2.2, so higher.
Oh.
Wow.
Any reason why you've gone higher?
Because
You'll watch it 8 times.
But I'll watch it 8 times, exactly, yeah, just to make sure it goes up to that. And I'll get my friends to watch it as well. Can you watch a couple of times, Ian? I'll push it up. Yeah, I think the regeneration might they might promote a little bit if he is going, so that might encourage a little bit of rise in the viewing figures. But I know nothing. But 2.2, I'll say. Okay.
Sudden Booch is in the chat with us. Hello to you. Even the streamers could write it better. I'm sure a lot of them could, to be quite honest. It'll be higher because there's no iPlayer early screening, says Trek Matt. That's a point.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
forget
yeah.
that this.
So I got in there first. No one can change the number. Okay?
Yeah, we have to remember that the Reality War will be shown at the same time all over the world, because there is a secret in there they don't want anybody to know about. And we all do, but they don't want that. And it's also going to be on the cinemas, which might actually bring it down as well with Wish World. Okay. No iPlayer until after the episode. That might bump it up on the iPlayer, to be quite honest. So we've got that. Emilio, higher or lower than 1.83?
I've thrown a banner in the works. I didn't even think about all of that. Gosh, I think the lowest we got this series was 1.51. So, I mean, it would be great, very fitting if the last episode went to lower it, but I don't think it will be. I think it would have lost maybe a couple 100,000 viewers just for the people that tuned in for this pile of crap. So I reckon 1.6.
1.6. Okay, Emilio's going lower with 1.6 for the reality war. For myself, I'm going to go lower again. It was 1.83 yesterday. I'm going to go 1.5. 1.5, simply because a lot of the people supporting this show will be in a cinema with 3 or 4 other people. That's what I reckon.
If they're lucky.
Being generous, 3 other people.
Yeah. I know a couple of you in the chat are going to this thing at the cinema. Have a lovely time. Please come back on Sunday and let us know what it was like. If you want to send me any photographs of you at the event, whosviews1@gmail.com, and I'll try and put them into next Sunday's show. Okay? But from us, keep putting your ratings in there, but from us, that was our ratings game. There was one positive review that I can't possibly not mention for this particular episode, Wish World, and you can all guess who it was from. Yes, once again, it's Whose View's favourite, Asia from the the Metro. One bold but brilliant Doctor Who decision just saved the finale, she said. The penultimate episode of Ncuti Gatwa's second and possibly final season has come out with a bang as we entered a disturbing alternate reality conjured up by through the power of Conrad's faulty imagination and the Rani's ambitions to resurrect one of the founders of Time Lord civilization, Omega. After a rousing opening sequence in which the Rani steals a baby, the seventh son of a seventh son of a seventh son, to fuel this dystopian existence, we are plunged into the married life of the Doctor and Belinda and their baby, Poppy. For those who love The Silence of the Library, Amy's Choice, or 73 Yards, Wish World will be right down your alley as we get the opportunity to see our companion in a totally alien setting, pun intended. There's something oddly endearing about the fake family the Doctor, Belinda and Poppy have together, and it is made all the more deliciously dark as the facade begins to crack and doubt starts to creep in. And I would say it's one of RTD's more compelling social commentaries on homophobia and compulsive heterosexuality, bloody hell, that fits so perfectly into the context of this episode and only serves to fuel Conrad's evil nature. There it all is there for you. Verada also, she got it because she's one of them. Verada also executes one of her most emotionally visceral scenes of the show so far after a disturbing conversation with her mother and grandmother about the role of women as child bearers and the unnerving fact that she can't seem to remember Poppy's birth. Her insanity drives her to let out such a gut-wrenching shriek that it sent shivers down my spine. And it was even more delightful to see Rogue make a cameo to help remind the Doctor who he truly is, who he truly loves, and the life he truly leads. Even if it was slightly weird to see him FaceTiming from a hell dimension with no explanation. Of course, Millie Gibson is back as Ruby Sunday, this time teaming up with units Shirley Ann Bingham, played by Ruth Madeley, to get to the bottom of why there is something off about the entire world. Once more, there is rich commentary on the way people with disabilities are ignored in society that feels effortlessly interwoven into Conrad's character and his overlooking of marginalized communities. By far and away, Archie Panjabi's larger-than-life performance as the Rani, however, proved one of the best aspects of the episode, which has infused new life into the finale. You're getting this, everybody. It was always
the same episode.
Yeah, it was always a gamble to bring back a classic Who character, but it has paid off handsomely so far. Not only is the Rani's dynamic with the Doctor beautifully explored, but Archie's delivery is full to the brim with charm, wit, and confidence. Essentially, the casting team hit the nail on the head by bringing Archie on board to resurrect the Rani, and I can't wait to see what more havoc she wreaks in the season finale. Even from the very first scene when she goes to steal the baby, there is some darkly disturbing and alluring about the business-like callousness of her character. She truly makes the character her own, especially since she has to deliver so much exposition and context for fans who have no clue of her history on the show, and she makes it feel nearly effortless. How will the Doctor save the Earth from Conrad, the Rani, and Omega? Only time will tell, but I'm ready to see it all unfold. Oh, so you're the one?
Yeah. I'm not.
Well,
she's an idiot.
What more did we expect, to be quite honest, from her? What more did we expect? I don't know. I think she's going to wet herself or spontaneously combust by next week because she's loved all of this.
We can only hope.
Yeah. Which leads me to think, where are we next week? Well, of course, I'll be here with headaches, I would imagine, because this is it. Episode 8 is next week, next Saturday, of course, BBC One, the iPlayer after the show, around the world on Disney Plus. And if you go into the flicks, it's on at the pictures at the same time. It's the season finale of this second version of Disney Who. It's the reality war. And my God, I'm so excited. Honest goodness, just to get out.
The one, then.
Yeah, just to get out of the way. All right, everybody, it's now time for you in the chat to start putting in your scores on the TARDIS doors out of 10. Kirsty, keep an eye on that for me while we run the titles. Here we go. All right, then, so let's see where we're up to. The Robot Revolution got 12.5 out of 50. Lux got 9.5 out of 40. The Well got 27 out of 50. Lucky Day got 16 out of 60. The Story in the Engine got 1 out of 50. And the Interstellar Song Contest got 6.5 out of 50. Roaring scores there, as you can see from everybody. So let's go now. Out of 10 from the panel. We're going to start this time with Paul. What are you giving Wish World?
Well, I was really angry before I came on, having watched that dross. I think it was the most pointless, boring, non-event television, lackluster script, just awful. You can probably guess my score, but it's actually. I was looking forward to seeing more of the Rani. She was wasted in it. I hope for a bit more explanation to what was going on. There was no plot to it. All the bits with the Doctor and Belinda being a couple were just really boring, more soap stuff. I'm going to give it 0. It was awful.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you for putting all your scores into the chat. I'm going to try and keep up with you in just 1 second, everybody. Okay. Emilio, I know you've got to go shortly. What are you going to give this out of 10?
Based on our conversation last night, JT, I was being probably a little bit over generous, actually. I was going to give it a 2, guys, just so you know. But I actually, on reflection, I think a 1 would be more fair. And I'm only giving a 1. I think the production values were very good. And I also did like Archie's performance. I mean, she just, was a bit more commanding on screen. She made Ncuti Gatwa look like a real amateur. And so I'll give it a 1 for that. I think, as Paul said, I mean, the story doesn't serve any purpose because we all know how it's going to end at the end of it. It just serves for a name drop of the Omega reveal at the end. There's no plot, there's no storyline. It's reusing ideas, and Curtis said, from Wandavision, from human nature. There's nothing new, original. And and a general audience wouldn't be able to follow any of this. It's fan fiction. It's fan fiction at its worst. It's lazy. It's hollow. It's just not Doctor Who. 1 out of 10 from me.
All right, Emilio, thank you. I'm going to put out this right now because we haven't talked about Omega in this particular show because he was only mentioned. His seal was in there, this new seal they've got for him. It wouldn't surprise me, Who viewers panel, if next week he's not in it at all. I'm expecting a door to open, a gloved hand to get the and then the traditional pull back into antimatter or wherever he is and not seen at all. That's what I said to a friend of mine today. That's what I'm expecting. I don't think he's going to be on screen.
That sounds far too exciting, JT, to be honest.
I know. Let's go to third Doctor Ian. What are you going to give this out of 10?
Sweet Fanny Adams. It was crap beyond belief. It was. I didn't think they could develop crap that was crapper than last week's crap, but by God, he's gone and done it again. But I can't go any lower than 0, so 0 it is.
Fantastic. And Kirsty, what are you going to give the Wish World?
I am going to give it a 1,
Okay.
and that is purely because of the Rani's, whatever you want to call it, headquarters, and the building, the set building of that, and the kind of costumes of the robot people that were having their hands in for the doubts.
Yeah, we didn't talk about them, do we? They were very, very good, whatever they were.
I
Yeah,
really
they
like
were
that,
very good.
and that is very sci-fi techy. That Mr. Lady of the Chat quite likes that kind of style, so I kind of like that because I'm now in that world. But yeah, I appreciate that seeing sets that people have built, and it's not just all CGI. I'm a sucker for that. Nothing to do with the episodes, as Ian says. Sweet Fanny nothings. It's a 1.
A 1. Okay, fantastic.
Why was it a bone palace? Can someone explain that? Why was it made of bones?
It was actually also a redress jet from the Robot Revolution, wasn't it? So they saved a bit of money there.
Oh, right. So,
I think RTD probably just was writing it down and went, "Ooh, bone palette, that sounds fun."
Yeah, probably. It wasn't expected. Was it the Rani's TARDIS?
In
that's
the
what I
words
thought it was from the clip. Yeah.
Don't know, don't care. It was quite cool.
Yeah, it is great setting, and those things you mentioned were very good with their fingers. I love them. Yeah, very good. What are you saying, Ian?
Was it just me, or did those guards look like the robot guards from the Eurovision episode the week before?
They were, yeah.
They were the same.
Yeah.
So again, recycling the costumes. Where's the money gone? Subject for another show. For myself, lovely to see Archie Punjabi in this episode. Lovely to see Millie Gibson back. I do think Archie was wasted. That was not the Rani. Why was she sushing about on a bloody Green Goblin style thing? I didn't get that at all.
Yeah.
What's that about? I did not understand the episode. I did not appreciate the narrative that because they wanted Conrad to be the sort of right-wing character that they think people are. I didn't like any of that with the disabilities. I didn't like the homophobic thing. That was nonsense. I thought the whole thing was just bullshit, to be quite honest. It's getting a 0 from me. There's nothing else I could give it. Absolute waste of my bloody time again. I'm going to start with Rick Storm actually in the chat. Amelia, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just going to leave now, guys. But thank you so
Good to
much.
see you.
Really enjoyed it. Thanks everyone in the chat. See you later.
See you later, mate.
Bye.
See you later. Ciao. Rick Storm, 0. Austin Woods, 1 out of 10. Clive Simpson, 7. Wow, that's huge. Chris Graham, 2. 0.051 says Robert Payne. Joe Chapman, 0. Thank you, Joe. Lex, 1 out of 10. Too many callbacks to Human Nature, Stolen Earth, Last of the Time Lords, and last year's awful finale. No original ideas. # RIP Doctor Who. Yeah. Alfie Jack, 0. Absolute 0. Duncan the Funky Evans, big fat 0. Jane Smee, 2. Digital Pollution, 0 out of 10. Woodhouse 122, a generous 1. -100 from Philip. Rory and Cheryl and friends giving it 2. Joe Chapman, 0 because I'm sick of it. Garbage is saying Story in the Engine 1, brilliant. What are you talking about? Get off. Marjorie, 1 out of 10. Thanks, Marge. Fan01ish, 2 out of 10. Java Bean is here saying shite out of 10. Thank you very much for that, Michael. Good to see you. Lynn Hobday, 1 out of 10 for the hardworking crew. -10 from Gav B. Killbot, kill, 0. Gosh. Clive Simpson, you're saying 7, but it was a mess. Fair enough. Gilliam, 0. It was a complete B. Oh, but RTD did as he promised. Change the Timeless Child by calling Omega the first Time Lord. And Omega wasn't at all. We went through that. Disturbance Film TV, 1 out of 10. -10, says David B. A consequence of chronic mavity. Bloody hell, yeah. 0 from Julianne, and I'm being generous. You always are, darling. Thank you. -infinity, says Matthew Pounder. David gave it 6 out of 10. Thank you for your honesty, David. Good to see you. Sudden Booch, thank you for 7. Noel Thrussell, 0. I was so bored. Marine Boy 66, 0. Is unspeakable. Derek Hart, -10 out of 10. Goodness me. Mudcrab, 1. Nothing original, nothing correctly foreshadowed, nothing makes sense even in the context of what they were trying to do. It was wasted. I believe it was wasted wishes as well. John Roberts, -10. For the love of God, please make it stop. Next week, it will. Bill Silver, 1 point for flashbacks. I am so over those bloody
Oh,
flashbacks.
so am I. So, did you notice actually in the flashbacks after they regenerated Capaldi, they put Jodie, then Joe Martin, then the 14th Doctor in that order.
Well, that's the order
And
that the audience, the alleged audience, has
Yeah,
met.
that might be significant when it comes back. So,
Oh, is it? Oh, right. Okay.
I don't know. I'm just creating speculation there.
Okay, well, you go ahead, yeah. PTA 7, marked down over misrepresentation of disabled people and for obnoxious Shirley. Yeah, I don't like her much. I didn't like her in the Star Beast. Poor Rose, 3 out of 10. Literally made no sense and some really objectionable stuff in there. Plus, it was ultimately boring. Reverend Steve Armoray, yes, as ever, 1 for the crew and bump it to 2 for having to suffer RTT and other flapping queens on set. Rocky 0, 5 out of 10. Next week will tell a lot. Our soul, 0 out of 10. Thank you for that, mate. Jason Parker, never even registered. It was terminally boring and mind-numbing. Poorly spot on. It was a complete non-event.
Yeah.
Sudden Booch is saying to us the reason he gave us 7s from the start to now. It's the only episode that got good. Fair enough. If you liked it, brilliant. I quite like your avatar there as well.
What are your scores for other episodes? Would be interesting then.
You have to go and let us know in the comments. Matthew Burrows is saying 4 out of 10 for Archie and Millie only. -10 says Digby Strawbridge. Hi, Digby. Whoopie Doodle Doo. It's got Andrew Brass is saying, I think I'm coming down with a bad case of compulsive heterosexuality. Well, I'd see a doctor if I were you, quite frankly. You know, because I'm slightly.
It's not terminal. It's fine. It's okay.
So. No, yeah. It's absolutely awful. Sheila B. and the Devotions have given it 3 out of 10. Raymond is giving lots of 0s. Andy Radar, 0 out of 10. Couldn't care about anything that happened. Hugh Janus, 0 out of 10. Douglas is being really nice, giving 9 out of 10 for Who's Views. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Daniel is giving it 0 and saying RTD is a bigot across the board.
Well said, mate.
Yeah.
I wish Paul would say what he really thinks, says David B. I think, yeah.
I was on the fence about it, I have to say. Yeah.
David Gulvin is saying 2 out of 10. What, how, who, when, why? No, you won't answer in the next episode. No, it's going to be ridiculous, isn't it? It's going to be absolute nonsense. Any more for any more? Yes, Forbidden Man, 0. I feel so lucky I missed it. Well, Craig Dunlop, I gave last week's Striving a 0, and this was 10 times worse. Enspiel, hello, buddy. 2, 3 points for Archie, and -1 for giving her a script full of shatola. I know, poor Archie. Poor Archie. Again, they should have just given her own villain. Kev Gresham, 0 out of 10. Slow lack of script and just shoehorning ideology rubbish. Thank God there's only 1 left to go. Thank you for Problem Being for joining us tonight. He's off because the battery's dying. I don't know the battery of what exactly, but he's off. Sheila B and the Devotions is saying 3 out of 10 because Shooty looked like black Mr. Ben. That's us getting a strike. Stephen Braddock saying -100. G35. 2 out of 10 for the visuals and for Archie as the Rani. What else we got? Any more for any more? Yes, Bunty 40770. It wasn't even an episode. I don't know what it was, to be quite honest.
There were too many characters in it as well for a start. There's too much to look into, wasn't there? You know,
there always is in his bloody scripts, though, isn't there? When he does these things, the Lady Knightsbridge is giving it a 0 out of 10. It made about as much sense as giving away the Jack of Silence for free. Totally ridiculous. A little bit of politics.
And that's not a fantasy, that one, yeah. So.
Yeah. Marine Boy 1966, what are you saying, darling? RTD wouldn't be able to help himself. He's definitely written Omega into it, chiefly just to hack the old fans off. We'll soon see. Sheila B is saying it looks good from what I've seen. I haven't seen anything about it. I'm sorry. David Shaw, did you notice the baby was giggling, sounded like the toy maker? Anyone notice that the Mrs. Flood could turn against the Rani and help the Doctor? I think you're right. I don't think the Rani will help the Doctor because she is the Rani, isn't she? Yeah, but I think she'll look after her own interests because it is the Rani, and the Rani is the Rani. If you know the mark of the Rani, the time of the Rani, that element should never go away.
It's Russell we're talking about here, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, yeah.
He doesn't understand the characters he's plagiarizing, does he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
No.
Jordan C, have you got
something to that?
Phillips Waters, Philip Roy's joined us. Hello, mate. How are you? 5 out of 10. I'm judging this compared to the rest of the Gatwa era because he wasn't trying and failing to play the Doctor. He didn't annoy me so much. It washed over me, but it was okay-ish. The problem is it had no impact then if it's washed over you, isn't it? Yeah. There you are. Jordan C is saying 3 out of 10. Thank you, mate. Joey, thank you, Joey. 0 Kelvin scale. Okay. Wow. Yeah. The Carcass, 4 out of 10. Okay. Mark Greaves, 7 for the weekend, 0 for the episode. Sudden Boots is saying Billy Piper would be a better Doctor. Stay tuned. 3 out of 10 from George, with no originality, uses all good stuff and this Wanda stuff. What else? 6 out of 10 from George, Space Jogger. Complicated mess. I liked the Rani. She has potential if she gets a decent script. Don't think it's going to happen now. And Stuart Barham's saying 0. What a load of cack. I love that word, cack. I haven't used that for a long time.
Yeah.
Dalek Lives Matter. 9 out of 10. People think it's too gay. I wonder why that is. What else? Any more? Oh, hello to Will Dixon. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. In the credits, there is Susan listed as Susan Foreman. That is wrong. Foreman was merely the name written on the junkyard gate in the first ever episode. Yeah, it's true, but she was known by Susan Foreman, wasn't she?
That was the name on the register at Cool Hill School.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was also the name of the author in the book. Conrad Reed.
I Am Foreman. Yeah, I Am Foreman. There's a story behind that. We'll look into it one day. Stephen Darren Holt, 2 out of 10. What the hell was it about? Even at the end of this show, Stephen, I have no idea. I was hoping we'd all clear it up, but I don't know. Stephen, thank you very much for giving us plus 100. That's very, very nice of you. Thank you. Jamie Tipton, 0. Even if I could watch this crap. Oh, God. Anybody more? Any more? Can we see any more in there?
That gave them negative 1,000.
Yes. And Alex back there with us saying 10 out of 10. Alex, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I wish you'd said something through the show. We would have asked you what was going on. AKA 2 out of 10. If this episode hadn't been released in the Moffat era, it would have been a 5 to 10 minute minisode and everything necessary would have been covered. I'd give the episode 0 and the Rani one. Oh, thank you, Whoopadoodle-doo. It's got Andrew Brass, I'm sure. Yes. And thank you, Mark Greaves. Your super chat. Jack the Ripper would be a better Doctor. Interesting. And the chat is with us. 1 out of 10 because I think the actress who plays the Rani is good, but bad scripts and direction. The actress who plays the Rani is superb. I will be saying this for the rest of our time now, talking about this. I love her. I think she's wonderful. Right, I'm going to call it there, guys. I'm going to call it there. So listen, thank you so much, everybody, for... oh, look at this from Duncan. She should be Susan Campbell now. Excellent
Good point. Yeah. Other soups are available. Yeah.
I still like their tomato and rice soup, but they stopped doing it. Anyway, I digress. Listen, it's been another great big show, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I really, really appreciate it. I know the guys do too. To Emilio, to Kirsty, to Third Doctor In, to Paul. Thank you so much as well. What a show. I'm still totally and utterly confused, but I'm going away realizing I don't really care.
Yeah, I feel the same. Yeah. I'm glad I wasn't alone in not understanding it, though. That's interesting, though. Yeah,
I know. I hope the last 2.5 hours, everybody, has been great therapy for you.
Oh, it has for me.
I hope it's all cleared it up.
Yeah.
Don't forget to please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to the channel. Come and join us for all our shows. If you have subscribed to the channel already, please make sure you're still subscribed. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. Come and join us over there as well. Great to see you all. We'll be back in the week with some more shows along the route of headlines. So make sure you're joining us for all that. And your big review show will be back for the finale, The Reality War, next Sunday, live here on the channel at 8 o'clock. Oh, come and join us. I think I'm going to need you. Oh, God. We will see you through the week, everybody. From all of us, take care. Ta-ra, everyone. We'll see you very, very soon.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Oh, it's going to be awful. I just know it's going to be awful.